Yeah, how do I sound with it when I hit the ground? 100-mile finish. My moment now ain't no mouse in us. I'm on the prowl and my style fitted. My time, give me high fives. Get a picture of the wise guy. What's a wave to a high tide? Never stop when you my size. Man, this my, I said it's my moment. I said it's my moment. I came here to own it. Man, it's my moment. Man, it's my, I said it's my moment.
Good morning, good afternoon, or I guess in this special occasion, good evening. Welcome to the Challenger Series. I'm Formal, and we have the special NA guest today, Danger Taco. Welcome to RLO, debut here on this channel. How are you going?
I mean, I'm doing great. This is actually a channel that I've watched a decent amount of when I've been over in NA, usually later at night. So when I was asked to cast, I'm thinking, I don't really want to wake up at like 3 a.m., 4 a.m., or let's be honest, I'm already awake and just about to go to bed or something. But no, this is actually a great time for me. It's right in the evening, and I'm super excited. This is one of my favorite productions to watch, some of my favorite players to spectate in. I know I've watched some crazy games here, and hopefully it's the same with the series tonight.
Yeah, I think we are going to be seeing some chaos, but like, look, I'm super excited to bring you along. It is time for that Challenger Series, figuring out who of, well, I guess the bubble scene we'd like to call it, will be making it through into that Gauntlet, which will be played tomorrow. And I mean, look, you watching along is a big reason why you're here, okay? Because we see you in the Twitch chat, we watch, we pay attention, and you know, I thought we'll see what happens. I'm surprised you came, but hey, I guess when we can start up, what is it, like 7 o'clock where you are? That's peak.
Yes, it is, and I think that's the same kind of why I like competitions like this, particularly that I think a lot of the competitions that I have been able to cast internationally, necessarily within EU, now OCE, are particularly due to the fact that it is the bubble scene. These players are trying to compete with the very best. Obviously, this being challengers, are trying to get forward, to get that first place, get into that gauntlet, and be able to compete for those larger prize pools, maybe a little bit more eyes, I would say, discerning eyes looking at you and your talents. So I think this is where a lot of those players can kind of prove that they can play at that level, and I feel like this is also one of those matchups. I mean, we have a matchup from a team coming up from the open and another team just trying to hang on to that space over here in Challengers.
Yeah, and I think actually you hit the nail on the head, because like this first match in particular is all about getting new eyes, at least on all of our players. We'll get more into that in a bit, but as mentioned before, you know, this format, it's all about the open. which happens on Sundays at the same time as the Gauntlet. You get through there, you get to this Challenger. Top 4 teams from that play today, and then out of the Challengers, only 1 team will go to the Gauntlet. But you're also scoring those all-important points, and it's the points which get you to that Gauntlet Finals, as you can see right here, not to mention a little bit of cash money, a little bit of that USD, which makes you know that this is a real event for real cash prizes, none of the dollary dues this time around. But yeah, for the top teams in particular, I think they care more about those points.
And being able to get as many points as possible to make sure you're able to be secured, that's a great thing. Particularly as we know with the formatting a little bit later on, it's not necessarily guaranteeing you a spot into that bracket, but it's very much saying, hey, you can get in on the upper side of the bracket. It gives you that extra life, and I think that builds in a lot of security for a lot of teams. Granted, it's hard to have security when you have a lot of incredible teams, as you can see at the top, definitely a class above everyone else, Power, Gospel of Locky, and Quick Trip Pioneers.
Yeah, I mean, it's the usual suspects, I suppose, at the top right now. Maybe Gospel of Locky doesn't have that same ring as a certain other org that starts with a G, but at that same token, Gremlin still being sort of that gatekeeper into the top 4 despite falling out of the Gauntlet, actually, so they have to play today if they want back in it. Serrani does seem to be coming together. The Gaming Gamers retirement home, they're still alive and kicking, but a lot of open spots for another team to maybe make that mark, still make that late run to get into the top 8. And a strong performance here today with only 2 more rounds left before the final weekend. I mean, there is still plenty of room in that top 8 to make final day.
And that's the important part about making sure that you stay consistent. Obviously, you don't want to drop down too much. You want to make sure you're always rising to the top from open through challengers into that Gauntlet. But at the same time, when we look at this bracket, some of these teams are going to have to go through quite a lot to be able to get up in there. Obviously, that first place is what you're eyeing. But at the end of the day, it's also a journey somewhat. You have to really just stay consistent, pace yourselves. And I feel like for a lot of these teams, making sure you're just improving. I think a lot of teams, especially when we talk about the bubble, they get into this weird mindset, which I despise, of if they don't succeed immediately, they're like, this is washed. And then they just kind of switch things up, restart their point value, and then go from there. I feel like if you just have something good and maybe something promising, you got to build off that. And I think that's what we might start be seeing here in round 4, where teams have kind of bought into the system that they put in.
Yeah, I'm definitely looking at it as well, also looking at these brackets. I'm going to be that guy and say one of these halves is a lot more challenging than the other. If I were coming through, I know the Gremlins are still that tough team, but I'd want to be on that upper half. Either way, though, our first match, it is going to be, well, TT versus TB, and if you're paying attention, you know that means T-Time taking on the Brotherhood in this one, and a lot of fun ways to look at this. You know, Tata's Minions was a team that made some waves, got a nice little upset over Dumb Luck and over, in order to, like, get further runs back during RLCS Spring, but, well, they wound up dropping Creed, picking up Remick instead. So it'll be Viz, Remick, and Tadagane on that side. But then when you look at the Brotherhood, well, that's where Creed went. You have Baz, who has been bouncing around collegiate scenes, been subbing, played at PAX for Ground Zero. And, of course, the big name that I'm super excited to see, Prompt, who has been not only a Brisbane local, so not only have I seen him actually play in local lands, but has been that up-and-coming next young kid. A lot of hype around this guy. If he can step up, show up, have some good performances in Bluebird's rivals, now on RLO, super excited to see what they can do.
And it's important to be able to show what you can do, especially with really either of these teams, because one of them, I feel like, as I mentioned earlier, is somewhat kind of hanging on to the status that they were able to maintain. T-Time 5th, 6th, so not necessarily anything that'll impress anyone or turn some heads, but when you are on the side of the righteous, when you're trying to make that destined journey up and forward, you'll take whatever you can get. Meanwhile, Brotherhood, 2nd in week 3 of Open to be able to get a little bit closer than the first. They won that Open last week, which is why they're here. So now it's time to see if they can actually prove if they truly belong here. First match of the night should be interesting to see if there is some status quo to be maintained.
Yeah, it does look like we are able to kick it off at that last moment. I mean, all the players here should be so familiar with each other to some extent in particular. I also, like, not only do we get, like, the, you know, Prompt seeing what they can do, but a little bit of a rematch as well if we go back to our collegiate scene. Tadagane from the University of New South Wales, Baz on Macquarie, they were our 2 best university teams. They played in the finals just a month or so ago. Tadagane got the better of that one. It will be interesting to see if Baz can maybe bring something back. Either way, out of the gate, it is T-Time on the initial attack, and looking controlled if nothing else. Tadagane, touchdown, Baz can't make the save. Remick is there, and that's the first goal.
Like those quick follow-ups, it's really all you need, but sometimes it's about the solo play, not always just getting on the top of the ball with a teammate. Tadagane, like that touch, just softly trying to look for that top corner perhaps, but sometimes the best passes are just those close misses.
Yeah, and I mean, they were just able to keep peppering it as well. It was just a lot of those fast passes off the backboards, and it never felt like the Brotherhood was able to get around and kickoff chance. Creed won't put it in, though. Remick gets the save on line. Look, I told you, it's going to be a little bit different than what you're used to in NA.
I mean, every region has their own kind of style to them. There's a little bit of flair that each one has, but also there's always some jank. It's the one universal language that every team has, and sometimes it goes right really poorly because that one could have been punished immediately. That miss might not come back to haunt the Brotherhood yet, but if they keep giving touches away like this, it just might. Tadagane tried to prompt one underneath, but Prompt actually able to get there in time and get that save off.
Good little play from Prompt, and I'm hoping to see more of that as the day goes on. It'd be a little bit disappointing, I feel like, for, you know, the young gun to come out there on their debut and fall short on their first match on the RLO stream, but he definitely has his competition out there for him. As we're going to see Prompt right now actually get a nice little beat on Viz in the corner. Baz, next player up, won't get it over the top of Tadagane, and like, I'm not going to say on the university scene for too long, but Tadagane probably was the MVP throughout the InterVarsity season, and considering, you know, there's a lot of names coming back who are playing in it, names like Zen, names like Jules, who they were able to play with, Steve as well on that New South Wales team. For Tadagane to be the standout player, that was really exciting, and I'm hoping that carries over into matches like this here today.
At the very least, you want the form to carry over, as Tadagane will get another decent clear on this one. And it seems like, for the most part, Tea Time, they're playing comfortably. They're getting their nice build-ups. They're slow playing it when they need to. And I would say oftentimes that can work, but right there, it's not going to. I think the demo, at least cooking up for the Brotherhood, are buying them some time to maybe build into something spectacular. Baz going to be denied on their double tap, and Remake is not having any of the follow.
Not on this occasion, at least. Prompt, though, still kind of being that lead charger at the moment for the Brotherhood. Sets up Baz. Shot was there, so was the defense. Viz makes the save on the goal line, but can't do too much with it immediately after that. Prompt, though, out of sorts. That leaves Baz alone in the 2v1. Still makes the backward read and keeps this game within striking distance.
Tadagane able to get another roller. Prompt, that might actually be a giveaway. Remake, I love the fake. And now Baz sitting alone and actually just stares them down. The sheer intimidation as the goalkeeper, leading potentially even to the pass if Creed can catch up to it. Another deflection leads Prompt to the corner, and now unfortunately to the afterlife. Taken out yet again, and even with, I would say, the pace of play, or at least the balance of it going back and forth, it's still that one goal providing the only differential.
Yeah, and I'm a little bit surprised, actually, that we haven't seen a bit more from the Brotherhood at this stage. Only 3 shots coming from the orange side, which is one less, I suppose, than Tea Time. Both these teams, they've been quick to rotate back, and, well, maybe that's why a quick counter from Remick makes it a 2-0 lead.
Really do like this play, particularly how it's built up. Just play it off the sidewall and then not wasting time. A lot of players want to get a lighter touch, maybe build into an air dribble, maybe try to get a fake in, but you just glance up and notice that defender's a bit too far out of net. Why not just send one and keep that 100% shooting percentage alive? Remick getting all the goals, and now his team just has to focus on defense in the final 90 seconds.
I even feel like back when Remick was known as Apple Crash, though, those were the kind of plays they would find Baz with a chance shut down by Viz on the line. Won't go too far with it. Eventually, the pace slows down a little bit, which is doing Tea Time some favors. It allowed them to kind of get the boost, get the reset. Now they'll have a better chance for the clear. Creed, though, looks to cut it off straight in Tadagane, and just over a minute remaining, the Brotherhood, they've got to create more sustained attacks right now. They just haven't been able to get the defense off balance for long enough.
Ooh, wow, that's a hefty 50 into the back post.
That's
that
it.
should be open for Prompt, but you can't be jinxing it like that one. That one might have been going on in, but you don't really know until it crosses that line. Creed sees into the future and peers a scenario in which they can get that goal off the rebound. A little bit of a chance here with under a minute to go.
I think you just had some stream delay or something. That must be what it was there. No, definitely. I think Prompt should have had that, but again, it was timely defense that kept it out in the corner, but too much attacking pressure, too quick, and now, under a minute remaining, still a chance in it for the Brotherhood. We'll see if they'll be able to find those last opportunities. Remick's been on point so far today, wanted the waterfall double, not going to get it. Back to the other side, 2 players press forward, Prompt stays with it, but again, it's that back and forth play, which isn't doing the Brotherhood any favors in these final minutes.
So now with these tiny bits of space, you want to be able to see the Brotherhood, be able to craft something out of it. Sometimes it's just off of a simple 50. Other time, it's putting back something that could be wide open. Creed gets way too much of that one. It's going to go over into the far post. Baz, quick follow-up prompt, lurking in front of the net. Now it's the third Creed, trying to keep it alive. Fake pass one, trying to go past another. The 50 down to prompt, and it's going to be banged on in with 4 ticks to go.
Remick was left in such an awkward position, really did everything they could off the backboard, but just too much attacking pressure. It really was a 2v1. Didn't get the pinch they were looking for, but it doesn't matter. The positioning absolutely perfect on that shot. 4 seconds remaining. Next goal wins this one, if it happens at 0 seconds or in overtime, which is looking more likely. Last chance, though, in tea time. Might have something cooking here. The pot's on the kettle. But it doesn't look like it's going to come through. Ball's going to hit the ground. We go to OT.
It's not going to come to boil, that kettle, at least not in regulation. So overtime, only natural for a game that has become really gone from all the stages. We've had a little bit of a, not necessarily blowout, but one team really starting to run away with it, and then you start to see the answer back, and now we're starting to see everything pretty even all across the board. In fact, Tea Time, the team that was not necessarily dominating, but very much had control early on, they've only mustered 5 shots, which is the total just from Baz alone, but pressure alone does not mean anything. You got to make sure you actually convert at the end of the day, and that's what they're trying to do in the beginning, but a sidewall pinch is not going to be it.
Yeah, I mean, and so many of these shots have just come from the final 2 minutes of regulation. Baz beats 2! And that's going to do it. Game number 1. It's a 2-point, well, 3-point, I guess, comeback, whichever way you want to word it. Either way, it's the Brotherhood on top. That's a very good way to start off this series if you're a fan of this younger team.
Oh my goodness, trust the process, I saw said in chat, and I guess that's exactly why. Baz with the clutch, every single player on Brotherhood getting a goal there within that effort, and it did have to take 12 shots, and 25% is not usually the best shooting percentage, but ultimately, if you do knock on the door enough times, you have enough strength maybe and courage to just kind of plow on through, bust down that door, and claim that victory. Tea Time, I think that's a loss that they're really going to have to kind of look within, introspect a bit, and wonder, where did that really all go wrong?
I feel like it's not to like name names or point fingers, but it felt like it was the midfield play that fell apart, because for the first 3 minutes of that one, I mean, Tea Time, they had the control of the middle of the pitch. They were more frequently on the attack. The Brotherhood was struggling to find the clears, but at that token, as soon as the midfield fell apart, as soon as we actually got to see the Brotherhood on the attacking half, Tea Time, they also struggled in frequently being able to clear it back to the other side in a controlled manner. So as we move forward in this one, that's kind of what I'm going to be looking for both teams. Who's going to get the better first defensive touches? Who's going to be able to consistently get the ball across the midfield line with follow-up? That could wind up being the difference in the series.
I think being able to, as you mentioned, control the midfield, I mean, that's really what effective offense is about. I think a lot of people necessarily look at, oh, how many shots, obviously, how many goals, but within a little bit of more of a removed, broader perspective, I think it's really how much you can just keep the opponents pinned in the half. I think best offenses are not necessarily the ones that are always in the attacking third. It's the ones that don't allow the defense to really even get the clear, to breathe, to get some boost pads and be able to ready up the rotations. And I think that midfield, at least from the side of the Brotherhood, looked real solid in the back half of game 1, but that's why these series are always more than just those single games. It's, in fact, game 1 is often just the tester, so is that going to be the warm-up that the Brotherhood need, or is Tea Time just getting the jank out of the system?
And I wonder if one of the big reasons why we saw the Brotherhood control that middle of the field, going back to prompt, was actually how forward they were playing, because it always felt like they were just behind that midfield line, causing disruptions here, looking for bumps or boost steals. And that's when we started to see the Brotherhood start to play a bit more forward, a bit more consistently. So keep your eyes on prompt as well if they continue to cheat forward and try to cause a little bit of chaos either with or without the ball. At this moment, though, back to the other side off the backboard. Remick is the first one there. Viz will get a free touch, uses it for a pass. Tadagane, crossbar down and not in.
Probably the best play shot that is not going to go in the end that you can possibly hit. So unfortunate, but the build-up is superb. It's exactly what you want to do. Draw the defense a little bit toward the corner, then knock it in the middle and have an open shot. So if they can do that again and sketch up a play similar to it, then I'm sure they'll score eventually. But at the very least, now that the Brotherhood have been reminded that, yes, you got game number 1, but it does not mean that this series is going to be any easier on you. Although it might look that way for Baz off the ceiling. Still gets the recovery on the bounce. Not going to be fool and Remick on that back post.
Oh no! Defense is looking a little shaky right now for Tea Time. I mean, strange commits. Tadagane was pushing it backwards. Now Baz has the reset. pretty simple save for Remick this time around, but again, the follow-up just not there. T-Time feel they're so front pressured. They're on that backboard consistently, and it's allowing so many free touches right now coming from this orange side. Resources are down, but Creed, a little bit too far back initially, does get to the play. Baz waiting for that opportunity. Won't get it just yet, and finally T-Time, they create a bit of space for themselves.
And only for so long, as Baz trying to lock it down again. Prompt is not afraid of just getting right up on that goal line. High lob, no one up for it right now, but no one, same counting Creed. They're going to get a delayed shot, which is going to ricochet off everything except the back of the net. Baz keeping it alive into Creed with Prompt again lurking in the midfield. He's going to finally get his delivery. No. Viz, I love that heads-up play, just bumping away the only player who's going to get that shot.
Yeah, Viz kind of saw what was being set up right there, had the vision this time around, but Prompt has the speed over Tadagane to get the first goal.
Really do like that setup as well. Baz going forward, delaying it just enough, and directing it direct down into that front bumper of Prompt. No lob, nothing too, I would say, chaotic about that buildup. It's really just efficiency, finding your teammate in that little pocket of space. A difficult thing to do, maybe high risk, but definitely the high reward that you're looking for.
Yeah, and it is enough to get that first lead. And if we go back to the last game, that's now 4 unanswered, actually, for the Brotherhood right now. There's a couple early goals that we saw Rimick score. Only points that's been put on for T-Time. Tadagane's shot, not enough juice behind it just yet. Rimick won't find the second touch either, so Baz wants to find the clear. Rimick staying forward, though, and Rimick always kind of is that player. Kind of reminds me of like an old school Leduc in the words, where they'll look for challenges, they'll look for odd cuts, they'll look to catch you off balance, but Brotherhood not having any of it. They still hold the line defensively, and now Creed with the open-ish shot. Big bump from Prompt, 2-0 lead.
And I love that change-up, really, on that air dribble, as Creed could definitely just smack that as hard as possible, but instead, let's just take it a little bit slower. Throws Tadagane through a whirl, and then even worse, he's just going to get slapped into the next zip code. Unfortunately, that's just not going to work for them on the back half. Great second goal, and as you mentioned, that streak of unanswered goals just continuing to grow.
Yeah, I really love that bump, actually, because it wasn't just, you know, that ground bump or an easy read one. Like, Prompt had to jump up for it, so Brotherhood very proactive, very fun team to watch at the moment, and unfortunately for T-Time, yeah, those early successes, they've kind of come up a bit dry. Another big bump from Prompt, and that's what I was hinting at before. Prompt wants to be that disruptive player and is really creating opportunities for the Brotherhood side.
And the Brethren on our orange side certainly looking like the player on the up and up. As you mentioned, this is the team that had advanced in from that lower division. So being able to get there is one thing. And I said that I would say the litmus test is being able to take on your first opponent, which is by seeding going to be the lower team that finished at this level before in the weeks prior. So I think right now they're passing that test, but I think series are a long distance to cover for a reason, because you have to be consistent. And at least right now it's showing that they're definitely acing that variety test. I do like that mix of those close air dribbles along with those longer clears, and same with being there on the defense. Even the double tap Remick can't quite grab.
Yeah, I'm a little bit surprised, actually. Normally you'd expect Remick to hit those. A bit unfortunate there still. 40 seconds remaining. Game's not entirely out of reach, but we're going to need to see T-Time create something. A goal from Creed could put this away. Tadagane was there. Baz still shutting down that middle of the pitch. Relatively quiet series so far for Baz, but hasn't really needed to be that step-up player. It has been a bit of the Prompt and Creed show. Speak of the devil, Prompt gets the clear to Creed off the backboard, and now Baz with a chance to put this game away. It's read by Tadagane.
And it's a bit, I would say, almost disrespectful sometimes. I'm watching this rotation from the Brotherhood, and even when T-Time has all the time in the world to build up their attack, everybody on the orange side is just rotating back to the goal, just like, whatever, you know, come at me with whatever shot you can muster, because it's just not gonna be enough. Looking like a shutout in game number 2, and the shots continue to reach into that double digits for the Brotherhood as their offensive brilliance is continuing.
5 unanswered goals now if we combine the first 2 games. Nothing from T-Time since about 3 minutes in from game number 1, so we're getting close to that 10-minute mark since we've seen them score a goal. And it's not like they haven't had the shots or the opportunities. Tadagane had a couple just outside the box. Remick had some backboard setups, but they weren't able to capitalize on the few chances that they had, comparing that to the Brotherhood, who, I mean, we were talking about it in between those first 2 games. Control the midfield, you control the tempo of the attack. It felt like for the first 3 minutes of that game, it was all Brotherhood, not allowing T-Time any space to move forward down the field.
And I think a lot of it also has to do with composure. I mean, even when we do look at the statistics, there's not necessarily nothing that is being done by T-Time. They were able to muster up 7 shots. Creed alone had all the saves for the Brotherhood, all 5 of them. And if we watch a lot of those back, they were kind of just those close angle 50s they were taking near the goal. And sometimes they wouldn't even challenge for the read just because they know that T-Time is so desperate for offense after those 6, 7, 8 minutes plus without a goal, where they're starting to reach these weird angles with low power, and they're just trying to direct it anywhere on goal. Creed kind of stands there, then flicks it to the side, and then they continue their counter upfield. T-Time, I think, needs to focus more on high percentage opportunities rather than just trying to hit anything they possibly can at goal.
And I think the big reason, too, why those flicks were also so successful was because of Prompt, again, looking for the bumps middle of the field or looking for the bumps on the other side, so you didn't get that immediate challenge coming from the T-Time whenever you had those little dish downs. Like, they were never in position to kind of follow up, even though that was the consistent play. So I'm with you. They need to find ways to get higher percentage opportunities. Playing a little bit further back didn't seem to be the answer. Maybe a little bit further forward. It's kind of tough when your opponents are clicking in terms of synergistically wise. And I don't know. They've got to come up with something unique. Again, Rebic is a player who I always look at for being a little bit unorthodox where they find their challenges. I'd like to kind of embrace that nature maybe, because it is do or die, and Prompt's already found first blood.
Well, 14 seconds is all they really need. And again, it's coming through a brilliant air dribble. The flip reset into the drag and exactly how you need to follow it. Get your nose on top of the ball, lean down into it. And even if you get a hefty amount of the ball on that clear, it's definitely going backwards.
Yeah, that was just a fantastic start. And unfortunately for T-Time, it's getting worse before it gets better for them. They're bringing out the demo game, though. Viz won't be able to win the challenge. Remix still puts it up. Baz chases Remix underneath. How did he get there that fast? Doesn't matter. The shot not quite hit hard enough to be a score.
Now on the counter, or at least what I thought was going to be one, Remix is able to half rotate into it. Viz on the near post, Prompt, quick reactions. Tanagate are going to have to half flip to be able to recover this one, and they do so well enough as one player is going to be taken off. Demos is actually something we have not seen too much of, which is a little surprising considering I think if you have another team in a good flow of rotations, you want to be able to take them out or at least threaten the mere thought in the back of their mind that they might be taken out at any time. So maybe we'll see that adjustment, but for right now, we don't need physical. It's all about finesse from Creed.
Oh, that was a little nasty right there from Creed. Tadagane tries to, I guess, maybe call that a free jump. I don't know, just trying to lock him down, but too much control from Creed right there. 2-0 lead, less than a minute in. This is such a strong performance from the Brotherhood right now, an exciting one for sure. Everyone's stepping up in this third game as well. Like, you can see Creed with that goal, Prompt with the first. Baz has been that defensive third member who's already had a couple key touches. Everyone's starting to click, and this is a small disaster for T-Time.
A small disaster, but that's really what I would say a lot of bubble play is. It's just those tiny problems that get you sweating, maybe the hands are getting clammy, and then you fix it and you move on to the next thing. It's just about how quickly you can solve those issues by bailing yourself out through teamwork or just through individual mechanical displays. But at least for right now, it seems like things have not necessarily stabilized, but if you're able to maintain pressure, I would say that's an improvement beyond anything else for T-Time. I would like them to be able to connect on these passes at the very least, because right now, that is what's happening most of the time. It's one touch, and then a player like Prompt gets a clear all the way downfield. Creed gets a clear right into him, and he will not miss from midfield.
Oh, you can see what T-Time was going for. Rebic wanted to connect to, I believe it was Viz who was coming from just off camera on that replay, but Creed with the easiest read they could find, straight down the middle. 3-0 lead, the Brotherhood. I don't think they're slowing up in this one, Taco. I'm feeling pretty confident about the Brotherhood right now. Maybe we're trying to curse them a little bit to get, more games in this series, but they're playing so well.
I mean, everything is coming together in an ideal way for them, because one thing is just getting goals, and we've seen the solo play work in, but also a lot of it is that they're not necessarily just saying, all right, well, we have them beat on speed on individual mechs, we're just going to be able to plow through them. No, they're still looking for passes. They're always trying to change things up, and I think that's what makes the defense so difficult in their pursuits of trying to touch the ball at the very least. Baz over the top, brilliant double.
Yeah, that was sick. Again, Tadagane just slightly beat out, and Baz with that space allowed to cook, puts it in. 4-0 lead. Very rarely do you see a 4-0 comeback, even more so in a situation when it's your back against the wall. This has just been the Brotherhood looking stronger and stronger with each passing game. They figured out their opponents. It feels like we've been seeing more interceptions. We've been seeing more open opportunities, and I'm excited to see how far this team can go because, again, like, when you look at this team, it's an exciting lineup. It's exciting to see Prompt out there on an RLO stream. Baz has always been an exciting, flashy player. Creed, they're getting their revenge against their old teammates, although I'm sure they left on amicable terms, so I don't know if there's any bad blood there. But it's always fun to beat old teammates, as Tadagane eventually does get one in.
Hey, so we have hit kind of double-digit minutes, it seems as though, since the last goal, but at least they have something. So if we want to talk about the, I would say, general territory of are they approaching a potential comeback, I would say that's exactly when you needed to score. Get a demo, kind of take advantage of kind of this loose defense that the opponents were displaying, and now it's kind of halfway about just speed. Kind of like this one. Creed, though, is not taking their foot off the pedal. Brilliant save off of that near post.
And what I loved about that, too, was Prompt was ready for that save, middle of the pitch. They almost turned that into a timely counter as well, so it's not as if the Brotherhood are resting on their laurels after getting that lead. Maybe that goal against them has kind of woken them up to put on a bit more, but the point is I still imagine them to try and play as lights out as possible. We see a slow challenge. Baz will eventually be giving it. Again, no real pace behind the ball just yet. Baz is going to try to clear to the other side. Remick, odd challenge, but works out for them. Tadagane wanted to go back to Viz, but Viz was already playing for the corner, so it won't work in their favor. Ball goes back to the blue side. No real tempo behind it, and that's doing tea time no favors.
And the continued clears are not just going to be able to dissipate pressure, but it's going to waste so much time off that clock. With 70 seconds remaining, you pretty much need every attack forward going your way. And the way that these counters are looking, these pre-jumps into the passes, looks like the Brotherhood certainly have their comms on lock, which might be all they need. I would say very much so a kind of wake-up call for tea time. Just because it looked like you did a half decent in previous weeks does not mean that the new challengers coming in are going to be any slouches. One more goal, though, from tea time as Tadagane somehow fits that puzzle piece in.
Okay, so great shot from Tadagane. Viz with the setup. What's going on with Creed? Yeah, like that was awkward. I think they couldn't get the flip because the wheels never hit. They were just stuck on the post.
Yeah, it's almost like one of those things where the base of your car does hit against it, but since your front wheels are hanging off, the game doesn't know how to register really what flip state you're in, so instead you're just mashing buttons waiting to fall off, and you're really at the mercy of gravity at that point. I don't think it's going to hurt him too much unless this one potentially goes in. Doesn't look like Tadagane had the leaps for that one. Maybe Viz does. Doesn't get the turnaround, but maybe the pinch down pass in the back post. Tadagane is going to be able to ricochet back, but with those deep rotations for boost means no support in the mid.
We'll see what happens. Prompt across. Remick actually with some space to work with. Had a free touch, but couldn't do too much with it. 15 seconds still to go, and unless we see that shot happen right now, like out of this corner into Tadagane, or maybe out into Viz into Tadagane, get it to Tadagane. They can't. That's going to do it. It's going to be a Brotherhood victory, although there was that last shot. Not going to be enough, so Tadagane falls. The Brotherhood advances, although they will get one for the road.
Yeah, a deceptively close scoreline to be able to end this one up. A lot of goals to be able to get back. At the very least, they're not just getting kicked over and over as they're laying on the ground throughout the series. They did mount a comeback just far too late. So tough mental blow to that team. But for the Brotherhood, got to be feeling pretty good going to the next round.
Yeah, I think that's about as great of a startup campaign you could be looking for. 3-0, a convincing 3-0. Again, that score a little bit deceptive at the end. It was 4-0 with, just under 2 minutes remaining. But maybe a point of concern that they let things get through at the tail end of it all. Whichever way you want to look at it, the end result is still going to be the same. And I'll be excited, see how they play ahead. Again, the winner of that Brotherhood, they're going either up against the Gaming Gamers, which is Zen, Sprat, and Hawk, and that team has already, made it to the Gauntlet. They've already had their chances up there, so they'd be looking to go back into it. Or it could be, Bandits with Daisu and Cyrax as well as Fisio, which is, again, not a team of slouches, consistent players in that bubble scene, always looking to break through. So the pathway does not get easier after that first one.
No, but at the end of the day, I think a huge way of being able to prepare your mental for tournament runs like this are being able to take it one series at a time. Just make sure you execute your game plan, be able to counter the opponents effectively. And I would say for most of that series, maybe like 2.5 of those games, it looked pretty much like that case for the Brotherhood. So now they can just refocus, maybe look at the next opponents, and then kind of readjust and be able to reset all their expectations. And I think they have a good chance. Certainly the chemistry was on, and hopefully that shows through the rest of it. Maybe we'll see them a little bit deeper on today.
Yeah, I think they could have a real chance. I would be curious how they would go against Gaming Gamers, which would probably be more likely. I know that series is currently 1-1 at the moment. We'll see when we get to it. Also, We do have Apples is American. They got a win through, as unfortunately it doesn't look like 2016 playstyle showed up today, so congrats to Apples is Americans. They'll be going up against either Squim Worlds or Odium. That match is still happening as well. Squim Worlds, when we last checked, I think had a 2-1 lead. So we're going to be going to a break as these other matches do finish up, but when we come back, it's going to be the quarterfinals of this Challenger Series. Stick around. More Rocket League very, very soon.
Yeah, how do I sound with it when I hit the ground? 100-mile finish. My moment now ain't no mouse in this. I'm on the prowl and my style fitted. My time, give me high fives. Get a picture of the wise guy. What's a wave to a high tide? Never stop when you my size. Man, this my, I said this my moment. I said this my moment. I came here to own it. Man, this my moment. Man, this my, I said this my moment.
Welcome back, everybody. Series 1 in the books. Still here, though, Formal alongside Danger Taco on an RLO debut. And we're getting geared up for, I think, another team about to make an RLO debut matchup right now. Apples is American. First time seeing them on stream. I'm excited to see it, but I need to ask before we get too into it. So far, what's your thoughts? How do we compare to North America?
I mean, I've been happy with what I'm seeing. I will say there are the fair share of teams DQing or potentially just not showing up, as unfortunately we do see an FF coming in there. But other than that, I would say the series number 1, it was entertaining, but I haven't had my appetite truly whetted yet. I feel like I really do need to see some teams a little bit more back and forth, ideally a game 5, and we did get to see that a little bit in the bracket all the way at the top side, seeing Odium ESC take in that 3-2. So hopefully American Apples has something. Didn't get that warm up, so that might harm them a little bit. but other than that, I will say these are both teams that have been kind of fighting to be able to maintain things. They had to go through some relegation in week 2, so they fight their way all the way back here. So now in week 4, up in Challengers, trying to make a name for themselves, trying to fight for that Gremlin spot.
Yeah, I mean, Gremlins is going to be a tough matchup, I feel like, for either of these teams, but Odium is a team that has been, like, trying to get through for a little while, and look, we've been advertising it a little bit on the side coming into this one. RLO's having their, annual year-end awards, and there's a player on that Odium team that I feel like is worthy of a nomination at minimum of the Best Upcoming Player award, and that is Aziz. I think Aziz has been playing fantastically so far throughout this year, and I'm excited to see what they can do. American Apples, not quite as familiar with this squad, so I'll be keen to look at it, but as this is happening, Gaming Gamers versus the Brotherhood is going to be happening down in that lower bracket as well, and I think that's going to be a telling match. We saw what the Brotherhood looks like. We know what the Gaming Gamers can be like. Physics can be a strong team as well, but I feel like any of those 3 teams could make it through. So there's a lot of fun matches still here in the Challengers bracket.
I think at the end of the day, when you look through all these weeks and you sift through the Liquipedia, by the way, a great resource in general, shout out to, of course, the Rocket League Liquipedia, the best Liquipedia, to be honest. The amount of teams that have been kind of up and down and trying to fight through. Usually when you look back in this bracket, there's a lot of moments where it's individual teams that look like they're playing fine, it looks like they're on a roll, and then suddenly they just kind of, I don't want to say throw, that doesn't really feel like the proper word, but they just don't show up for some of these matchups, and so I think that's always something in the back of your mind. I know a lot of teams, actually, I've talked to, they like to ideally be in those positions that Gremlins and Physics are in, get that late spot in where you're basically just one game off of everything else for the Gauntlet qualifier, or you might want to start a little bit farther back and maybe get a little bit more of a warm-up, so momentum moving forward into the rest of the bracket. I think it's entirely state-based, whether it's based on where your headspace is at on the day of the games, but either way, I do agree that those top 2 teams, I mean, they're coming out with a lot of confidence. They earned their spot, so only natural that they're going to get a little bit of a head start, but I do think Odium and Apples is American. Certainly something that teams on the come-up, coming from Open up back into Challengers, certainly something that they want to be able to have some stake placed into the ground.
I wish I knew more about this American Apples team, too. Like, I'm excited to watch them. we haven't really seen them that frequently on stream. I know Wolftick is a familiar name to myself as someone who, like, I've seen kind of bouncing around. Keckles, though, and Apples on Anxiety themselves, I'm assuming, just based on that Liquipedia with the American flag with the name, they might be from America. I don't know, going on a hunch right there. Maybe from the Big Apple. Maybe they're from New York. That would make sense. That would be fitting, but yeah, I'm very curious to see, what style they bring, what they're going to look like out there on the pitch. I can't help but feel like they're a little bit of an underdog, though. I mean, we have the poll down below. People kind of agreeing with that initial take right now. It looks like Odium, maybe that early favorite, but you never know when it's a new team like this, so it could be an interesting one.
And being able to also look at the interesting aspects of, just doing the light research on the side. When you mentioned Wolftick, I mean, they have the Season 6 Bronze Tournament winner tag, so maybe just an incredible rise to the ranks since Season 6, or maybe just some weirdness in terms of tournament MMR. Either way, nice thing to be able to lull your opponents, as we have 2 SSL tags, one in Hoops and one in Standard Play on Odium, so maybe there's a little bit of a mind game, just lowering expectations.
Dude, Hoops is where it's at, all right? I'm not going to hear any Hoops slander on this stream. If you
I'm not saying Hoops is bad. I'm just saying I wouldn't fear that the same as a regular SSL tag. That's just me, though. I don't know.
Yeah, I would fear that more, all right? Because that's someone who's going to be a little bit unorthodox, perhaps, on the pitch. I think you got to be a little cautious. Either way, we're going to throw 5 minutes up on that clock. We're going to kick this one off. Odium. It does look like they might be running Orv coming this time around, so a little bit of a player swap. I believe Orv might be Orvity. Not entirely positive. I'm going to do a quick look into that, but as we start this one off, Orv will be the first one getting demoed by Apples. Keckles, with a chance for a kickoff goal, has the reset, but Aziz has the save.
And not only the save, but being able to set up the pass into the demo attempt does not work out, so Apples able to send that one to the backboard. Keckles has the read, but not necessarily going to be able to get the touch they're looking for. That's well to the side. A lot of flip resets and slower play working through in the beginning here, as I think teams start to get experimental, especially with these passes as well. Upfield as Apples can't find Wolf.
Not able to kind of piece that one together, and I will like to confirm Orv is in fact Orvity. He is subbing in for Currency, so the sub coming through, but actually think Orvity is still a pretty strong player in their own right. It has the demo right there to kind of prove that point. So I don't expect Odium to really be hindered too much by it. I mean, they've already won one series today, so you can't even be like, oh, will the sub fit in? I think the sub's going to fit in fine. As this is. Let's play it up in through the corner. Orvity is there, shot a little bit too tight. Wolfpick tries to clear it down the middle. Not fast enough for a counterattack, despite Apples looking for the midfield touch.
And Jork's able to get the bump on one. Maybe a second. Wolftick is just staring him down and watch them go over top. Same with Keckles going over the defender in the backfield. Wolf keeping it alive. Maybe even a flick. He's going to do it all himself through the corner, and that's 1-0.
There you go. I mean, it was a good dribble down from Keckles, but Wolftick in the corner stays on the play. Orvity, you can see the recovery a little bit awkward in that corner, and Wolftick all over that to follow it through. 1-0 lead. American Apples on the board first.
Keckles, like that little backflip, just being able to keep the ball in place. Not really going to worry Jorks, as Jorks is probably the most adventurous of the Odium players. Definitely not afraid to be able to go to that ceiling, accelerate that play as fast as possible, and maybe even follow it up with a bump play. I feel like they're going to be the person galvanizing most of these attacks from what I can see out of the Odium squad, and I don't know if that's going to be a sustainable play style, particularly if everyone else doesn't come up, but at the very least they can try it, and then if it fails, then maybe pivot to something else. 1-0 is not necessarily anything to throw your game plan out the window yet.
Just yet, Keckles wants to challenge this. Can't go too much Orvity from underneath, though. We'll try to create that little bit of space. Wolfpick with the catch. Aziz waiting for it, though. Nice read, and I'm with you so far. Early days, Jorks has been that forward player, but I'm going to go back to that previous point I made. Aziz is the big player on Odium that my eyes are on right now. Again, they've had a very strong sort of first year in competitive play throughout 2023, and it feels like whenever they show up to these events, that they always have one or two big play moments in them. So I think eventually Aziz will strike, although it's going to be Urix again getting it towards the backboard. Wolfpick, easy read, at least initially. Second touch as well. High off the backboard, Orvity on the other side. They're just trying to burn that boost from the American team, but not able to get it yet.
Keckles, I would say dispossessed, but it looks like that bounce is actually going to be exactly what they're looking for. Off the sidewall, gets a 50 as well. Is that going to find the back post? No, it will not, but Apples, the American, as you might be reminded, getting number 2.
I like this as well. Aggressive push forward, and both times we've seen American Apples get that goal. It's been off of Keckles being that leading charge, being that one to just go for a solo dribble, a fast one down the middle, drawing a lot of pressure, and then the fast follow-up to turn it into a goal. It's happened twice for them already in this game. A good showing from American Apples so far.
And being able to maybe send that one with the double tap, not necessarily getting any touch that was going to trouble the defense. Orvity trying to do the same. However, that pass would be a bit behind their teammate. I don't really mind those pre-jump passes, but you're definitely trying to take a large bite out of the defense for not much reward, especially since that shot is not going to be super dangerous. But it does speak to their confidence. If they can build on that in more substantial ways, maybe something could come of it. Kind of like this attack with a lead demo. Apples not getting that catch. Aziz 50ing it down, or trying to put that one on target, but he just can't.
Whoa, Wolftick just at the last moment able to scoop around that one. Orvity probably wishing they had a little bit more power behind that touch. And I love the demo setup as well from Urix, again, being that forward first player, just causing the disruptions. It does feel like a matter of time before Odium's going to get that goal. However, time working against them as well. Could be too little too late in this first game. American Apples, they're looking very strong defensively. They're looking very strong when they can push two players forward. They're just looking like a good team right now, and it doesn't matter that it's their first today. They look warmed up.
Up until something goes wrong. I got a little scared there, I'm not going to lie, from Apples. That backflip into the catch is not always what you want to see out of your last defender, but he does at least buy time, and that's what good defense really does. And now they can join them on offense. Wolftick into the ceiling. Aziz looks like he has that one. Orv looking for a pass back down, and sometimes when you're going for that finesse, you take too much time, you overthink it, and I think that's really been a hallmark trait of this team throughout most of this game. They have a vast majority of the shots, and yet 66% shooting off of 3 shots from American Apples is going to be more than enough to be able to look like they're tucking home this game, as they might even get a third last-second save going through.
Apples really close to finding it there, but it's not like Odium is out of the woods yet. 15 seconds, and still American Apples are putting that pressure on. Another challenge from Apples as they really want to be that forward aggressive player. It will not matter when it's said and done, though, because enough damage done in the early stages of this game. Again, Keckles is going to be the one who drives it towards the backboard. Timer hits 0. Game number 1 goes to American Apples, and maybe a little bit of an upset, perhaps. Still early days in this series, but a strong showing from the team in orange.
Yeah, and ultimately that's really what you need out of most of the squad, is just being able to get your shots off and take them well. And that's what they did. As we mentioned, they're getting outshot, but if you take a lot of shots on, so long as the saves are somewhat controlled and you can deal it away from your goal, just get those parries to the side, win your 50s, then honestly I'm not even that bad about it. I like to look at the statistics, and I like them to tell the story here, but I don't really feel like there was any moment where Apples American was really sweating at any moment.
No, I mean, even with the closest shot that came from Orvidi, where Wolftick was able to scoop around it. I mean, at the end of the day, Wolftick knew exactly what Orvidi was going for, was in position to make that read. You compare that to the attacks that we saw from American Apples. Yes, there was less of them, but the moment Keckles, who might be the surprise MVP of that first game, got those dribbles across the middle of the field, you could just see everyone on Odium kind of immediately rotate to it, and it allowed that quick second touch to be as effective as it was. So more disciplined defense on the orange side. Big reason why they won that first game. If that trend continues, it could be really good things for American Apples. They could be going on to face the Gremlins, but it still is early days of this series, Taco.
Yeah, certainly is, as Orvidi's going to have to make that last second save. Wolftick keeping it alive with the light touch, and I would say that it looks like they're continuing their nice offensive ways. I will say the one thing to look out for is that in the last round, it looked like the Odium actually got the reverse sweep in that game. So maybe this is just the trap card they're trying to let be activated in the middle of the pitch. Just lose this second game and then just immediately win the next 3. Who knows?
I mean, if you have an MO, it's always good to play towards it. Granted, I don't think that's good for, your lifespan, your heart rate. You can see right now I'm already going gray, okay? And I don't want these kids to kind of go gray with me, so I'd advise something a little different moving forward. Orvidi has a chance to put something on target here. Wolftick again, just all over Orvidi, able to get that save.
I don't know, these players are entertainers. Sometimes they like to ramp up the drama and then go from there. At the very least, it looks like the American Apples is in on the script as they're continuing this offensive barrage, even with some intermixed passing plays. I like the back pass, being able to maintain possession, although Wolftick might with that shot back. Apples looking for the reset, going to be immediately met by Aziz and well cleared.
Well cleared all the way to the other end. Wolftick's first touch read by Orvidi. Good for Orvidi to get one the other way this time around, but Apples still goes for that ground pitch. Can't get it around Jorix, who can't get around Keckles in return, and now Keckles setting up. Wolftick has the reset. Aziz goes up to challenge, plays keep away. Jorix coming from behind, also keeping that pressure down. It's a little bit of that back and forth style. American Apples, they haven't had their big sort of breakout moment yet. This game feeling a lot more controlled by Odium so far.
Oh, that 50 is brilliant. It's right down into Aziz, but the comms are in there. 2 players sitting on top of each other, and that is the situation where I think the lights get a bit too bright for some of the players, where if either one of them takes that, I feel like it's in, but sometimes your powers do not combine. And even worse, the immediate counter going on in.
Yeah, and again, it's another situation where just a little bit too much attacking pressure. Orvidi wanted to go for kind of that squishy, but was a little too quick on the ball. Apples able to find that shot further back. The backboard has really been the best friend for the American Apples attack so far as they use it to get another goal. But this kickoff looks good for Jorix. No, they won't be able to get it around Wolftick.
And even worse, I think the pace of the initial ball rolling off the kickoff was actually the attempt at the fake, maybe just a jump looking for a 50. When it doesn't come in, okay, I can fake that around. It's fine, I can pitch it across. Now you're in a dominus. Any pinch is going all the way across the field, and it's exactly what did transpire. A brutal way to almost get back in, and yet almost does not get goals.
Yeah, and we're now a game and a half into this one, and Odium still looking for their first point. They have a chance here. Aziz pulled away, though. Kind of an awkward angle. They were too far forward, so it gets pushed safely to the corner. And as the time continues to whip down, finally Aziz is going to step up and get the first point for Odium.
Oh, my goodness. I mean, looking at the mile per hour on that one, just a casual 93, 150 km for those of you. I think if a goalie was in goal, that ball would have hit him and exploded right through them anyway. So I would say if you're going to get any goal on in, that might as well be it. And at least there is no more specter of a perfect sweep, but that does not win this game. Still got to do more than that.
Yeah. Really good save pulling out the 150 km per hour. I was ready to go in. If you suck with the, I mean, chat's already going in on that. But
I know. I'm reading off of my screen, all right? I'm not doing kilometers. I'm so sorry. Yeah. Really alienated myself already from the audience. Imperial
system, not welcome anywhere else. I still don't get it. again, obviously accent, right? People know I'm from America originally. I still don't get the Imperial system, why that's a thing. Here we are, though, a minute 35. It will be Keckles looking to come back the other way, setting up Wolftick. We've seen this before. 2-1 lead for the Apples.
And really do like that placement as well. And that's something that sometimes lacks in a lot of players, where you get an open shot and they just want to smack it as hard as possible. But sometimes if you just put it a little bit to the side, that's all you really need on the placement. So holding that R1 like it's FIFA, getting that goal with 92 seconds remaining in game number 2. So a deep sigh maybe from Odium, and right back to business trying to match their opponents yet again in the goal column.
I feel bad for Orbity in those types of situations. It's so tough to make that save when you're kind of rotating backwards, but you kind of wind up looking a little bit silly, like, well, why didn't he make that move? They had the boost, but you have no idea where that shot's going to be. It's kind of like a penalty shot almost in a football game. Orbity now going to come through on this. This would be a pretty worrying trend for Odium if they drop 2 games in a row once again to kind of open up a series. I'm glad you brought up that reverse sweep last time, otherwise it could be proper panic. Unless Yorick get this here, Keckles does have that save.
I mean, there genuinely are a lot of teams, I feel like, that I've cast within bubble scene, collegiate, or even in low-level pro, where they honestly do take a long time to get into series. And so a lot of squads, or at least the fans of those squads, watch them lose, and they're like, I don't mind it, because every game is a slight improvement until they finally just figure it out. And I think if you are an Odium enjoyer, then certainly you're going to be able to have to really cope with that facts. But right now, it seems like at least one goal is all that separates them, but not if Orvity keeps believing in stuff like that. The faith is rewarded with the post, but maybe not next time.
Yeah, is what I'll say to that one. I mean, hey, Orbity saw it. I didn't. I thought that was going in, and 10 seconds remaining. One last chance for Odium to maybe get this one into that overtime, but they're going to have to flip the momentum back the other way. Wolfpick puts it up. Yurix has Aziz underneath. They're going to try to connect. Aziz has to jump for it, though, and puts a lot of pepper, too much pepper behind it. Apples move on to match point.
And it almost looked like Apples is American there right at the end. They looked like they wanted to keep that up, but they didn't really know how. They had one player coming up, they had one player rotating back, and it looked like maybe one of them wanted the other to take it, but they weren't sure which one, and they kind of just spiked it down. I don't know if they would be able to get that coast-to-coast carry from their own side to the other, but either way, they didn't really need it because they just had to spike that one down anyway. So Odium taking that loss, like we had talked about. The reverse sweep last round is one thing, but theoretically, every round it gets harder, so maybe it's not going to be necessarily the same difficulty level. They're really going to have to, not to say peak, but I would say be a bit more conscientious. You can't be giving up those open shots, especially in a must-win situation.
Well, I mean, good news and bad news, all right? The good news is they did get that goal, and that's something that they didn't get last game, but the bad news is they allowed twice as many shots against them. Like, they didn't have that same midfield control. They weren't the team putting on the pressure like we saw in game number 1, and I guess it worked out in the sense that they're able to get that point in, but if the American Apples are improving each game as well, I am going to be a little bit concerned for Odium. If they could get an opening goal, it would be great for them, but the defense on this orange side will hold out. Apples eventually get the clear.
Z's will be able to get a decent clear, at least to the side, but Keckles going to shut that one down. Same with Wolftick, another cutout on App, but the problem is I'm noticing Apple is kind of drifting with the play. That's a rotation that I had seen a little bit out of our American Apple side, where they kind of go left and right along with the ball, where it seems like when the ball does eventually spurt on out into the open space, they don't really have someone on it immediately, and that could come back to haunt them, particularly if touches like that continue to go through. Maybe a counter as he's trying to get the pass back, but it's too light for their liking.
Too light. Yeah, whenever the pace slows down, it does feel like American Apples is just doing a better job controlling it. Although, ball's up for grabs in the middle pitch right there. Yorix gets the free touch, but Wolftick had that midfield read. A nice save by Aziz to find Orbity off the crossbar. Sick little defensive pass, but again, Odium, they're struggling to get it past the middle of the field, and now Keckles looking to set up Apples. They don't come together.
Pass across. Yorks into Aziz, straight down. That's a brilliant passing play, and it's going to be rewarded with a nice little finish by Orvity. 1-0 for potentially the first time in this series.
Yeah, it's the first time we actually see Odium with the lead. It's only their second goal so far, but definitely an impressive one. All three players getting involved. The 1-2-3 clear down the middle. That's what we want to see from this Odium side. Back against the wall, starting to wake up a little bit more. If they could get a second off this kickoff, it would be nice as well. Orbity already gets it to the backboard. Apples has to slow it down. York will go up for the challenge, but too little, too late.
But at the very least, it looks like the boost steal can begin as Apple's able to get the first one. Keckles not getting that mid boost, so they'll just flick into the ceiling. All three players on Apple's American turn for this one, and now might open a counter as their lead blocker. They don't even need one, potentially Jorts with a flick, and it's going to be saved away. It's one of those plays where maybe faster is not necessarily the move. You had lead players up there trying to get that last demo, and you just kind of rush right by them.
Yeah, and fortunately, it's kind of a less sustained attack, although Orbity, again, really looking to create something. And something there's a lot more Orbity as the fourth man. If you go back to the first couple games, it was kind of Yurix who was that player. That's changed to Orbity as the series has progressed, and I think it's working out better and better for the Odium side. Aziz with an opportunity off the backboard. Didn't have that fourth member, though. A little bit unfortunate there. Yurix, though, still keeps the ball on the forward side. Another chance for Orbity. They can't get it past Wolfton.
And I do like this pacing and also the spacing from the side of Odium, where they're dedicating two players to really just harass the defense. And then you have one player real deep, just in case a ball like that comes out. Another shot going to be saved to the side. But also when the clear inevitably comes through from Apple's American, they typically clear too far away for them to really reach, and then the ball just gets sent right back in. That's something that I would say our orange side is going to have to be especially careful of going forward, especially as we know that Odium has been able to slowly get better in these series, and apparently starting off the reverse sweep attempt yet again early on.
Yeah, and I mean, again, it goes back to kind of what I mentioned before. It's when the pace slows down, when American Apples look a bit more comfortable. They don't want the fast pace. They don't want to get caught out of position like this either. Aziz with the cross-up, second goal for the game.
I do like that double tap, particularly in that it's a lot harder on the angle. They try to hit that forward, but they don't want to go right down the middle, particularly for the fear that it might be too easy to save, so they go toward that near post, but that means they're going to have to curve all the way around it. They do, and oftentimes in a double, it doesn't have to be perfectly struck, just awkward enough for the defender not being able to get a touch on it, and no one's getting a touch on this one, or the wide open shot, not going to be in yet. York's on the comeback, and it's going to be saved yet again, so no third goal, but right now, where has this Odium team been in game number one? This is more like it.
Yeah, this has been a really nice turnaround. And again, it changes with the Orbity being that first member, I feel. That's been able to be a little bit faster than Yorix was. Yorix maybe was going for more bumps, was causing a little bit more chaos, but the increased tempo, forcing the harder touches. It's been a lot harder for American Apples to control the ball. Good save from Aziz right there. That would have been an awkward goal to give up. And yeah, just that little change in the rotation order just bearing so much fruit right now for the Odium side. I'm going to be curious to see how long this can continue, though. If game one does go their way in game number 3, so their first win, still a tough ask to take 2 more, but I like what I'm seeing.
Oh, what a pass again to Jorx, and it's just going to be up the post, and that seems so cruel to be able to deprive that one. As out of nowhere, these 3-person passing plays actually really starting to rock the field here. It seems like every single time the ball is going forward on these clears, it's going into a dangerous position. But of course, as I say that, you can't be excellent on both sides of the pitch. What happened here? Complete breakdown.
Oh, Orbity just misread that. Aziz maybe popped it too far up. It wasn't a connection that Odium was looking for. An American Apple's prime position to go for the intercept. Immediate punish. And now with 36 seconds to go, a good kickoff. I'm surprised they didn't go for something tricky like a fake right there. Wolf kick, tries to pre-jump, misses it. In fact, it's just, Jorix making everyone miss. Going to the house, but it's off the post.
And that is a lot of heads-up defending. Is not only do they race all the way back, but going directly toward the goal. So that could be an own goal as easily as it could be a save, but they do make it to the side, which does rescue their chances for this game. Apples trying to get that flick up and over. Wolftick going to the sidewall, but there's no clear found to the side. Keckles into Aziz. Wolftick keeping it high, but with the final seconds, it is not Odium that has to do anything more. They're just trying to burn down all this time. They opt for the loft.
Big demo.
Is that the mistake? A brilliant demo, as you mentioned, and that should be the end of this one. Finally, a game on the board.
So I'm actually kind of curious your take on this one, Talker, because I feel like teams just, in general, play better with 0 seconds left. Like, something about as soon as the timer hits 0, everyone just starts clicking, starts connecting, and that's why you always see those big chaotic moments. How do we trick these players into thinking everything's at 0 seconds?
I don't know. I mean, there's certainly a lot of moments that I think players get in their heads about 0 seconds. There's a lot of people who double commit because it's like, oh, we got to keep the ball up. But there's also a lot of interesting moments where you know that the ball has to stay in the air, so the players have to flick it up. And yet, you'll still see sometimes on defense, players just dive for it because they're like, let's just spike it. I just need to get to this immediately. So I think some players, if you can just play instinctually but have trust in your teammates, it shouldn't be that close. But at the end of the day, there are a lot of exciting 0-second moments. So maybe we'll see even more as we continue on. Maybe we'll see even more of this series because it very much still is right in the grasp of Apples is American. Despite that last loss, they're still sitting on match point. But as no, Odium has been awakened, by far the best we've seen them play.
Yeah, I mean, they've looking a lot better. They're looking a lot more like, you know, you would expect from their namesake coming into this one. I mean, again, they are the more known quantity, but they're not a bad known quantity. I mean, this is a team that can find success in these types of games. So I was a little bit surprised to see them down 0-2. I'm happy to see them start to come together, but winning 2 more against a team that also has been gelling, it's going to be a tough ask. Orvity with possession gets slowed down by Apples, but won't get the pass past that. Wolfig to Jorix, and I don't know, Odium, they're looking more like what I wanted them to look like at the start.
Oof. And now it's on defense as well. They did have an awkward moment to give up that 1 goal, and maybe they can produce a shutout this time if they avoid that. Certainly going to have to contest with some demos, as the ball is only going to be ricocheted across on the immediate follow-through. Very wide rotations, at least from our orange side, to start this one off, which means that not going to be a lot of pressure, but it's not necessarily that the counters are doing much for Odium either way. Aziz finally getting the shot off. It's actually not going to be touched into an ideal situation. Jorix landed right in front of it.
I think they were looking for Keckles, who was inside the box right there. Wolfig was hoping to dish it down. Keckles follow through, but it was an awkward pass, an awkward touch, and heads up play by Jorix to make it the 1-0 lead.
And I do agree that most likely just to save, say, nah, maybe I have a weak touch here. But either way, good job on Jorix for not just immediately landing after that sealing effort and then rotating out, stealing the corner boost, staying in the middle, knowing that that touch is going to be probably a little bit awkward and making sure that they're there to punish just in case. And speaking of, Orbity's going to have to get back to this one. That could have been weird, but instead, it's upfield pass into the pre-jump. The confidence completely restored from the blue side.
I love the pre-jumps. You know you're feeling good when everyone's just going for pre-jumps. It feels like 24/7, but that's been the case. Musty, shut down by Keckles. I like the attempt. Pre-jumps, Musties. Yeah, this is a completely different look at Odium right now, and I'm here for it. 2-0 lead.
And the passes across the goal face when all 3 players are in the box. I mean, this is the confidence you're looking for. It's so easy to just rock that right on to target with 2 players there because you're wide open, but it's so much easier to just throw it across and let your teammate from a closer angle and an odd angle for the defense be able to rocket one in. Another goal. And right now, you got to be thinking Apples is American. I wonder what the attitude in the comms is like. This game is completely flipped on its head for them.
I'm not sure I like that goal on replay because A, when you mentioned passing it across the goal, B, it was a double commit as well. Had any player on American Apples even so much as like sniffed the touch of that ball, it was going all the way the other way. So hey, it worked out for it. Can't complain too much, but I am a little bit worried, maybe a little too much confidence. I don't know, 2v1 here and Apples will put it through.
Well, speaking of confidence, this is what you need when you want to pull out a ballsy fake like this one. You have everything to work with for Aziz. Even has the shadow defense, but you don't even need a flick if they bite on early. And still, you need composure and positioning to be able to get that 50 down and half the game still to go. And again, it's going to be a 1-goal game. I'm not sure if that's going to be enough to really incentivize them or rather kind of motivate them forward and give them the game plan to counter. Maybe some luck in their back pocket. Orvity had to reach up and over to get that first save, up into Wolftig looking for a ground double. As the first one wasn't powerful enough. Apple's able to rescue, but only for so long.
Wanted that ground double dog, actually, the triple D, but actually, what is that? The GDD is what it would have been. Still not there. 2-12s to go on this. I mean, both teams definitely have, you know, their moments so far in this one, and it's really good to see as that's just going in, and well, that may have been the mistake.
They all count the same at the end of the day, Formula. And touches like this are so unfortunate. That's not even a bad play necessarily from Aziz trying to jump on that as fast as possible, but sometimes when you go that quickly into the corner, yeah, you can get a dunk, but other times you get a deflection instead, and if it lands at the feet of a defender already moving on up, then any shot from any distance is going to be one of the more high percentage opportunities you can muster. Defense always has to be ready for that option. Become scoreboard completely wiped clean. We might as well be back at square one. Odium knows it, and so does Aziz, trying to make up for it with a distance shot of their own, not going to be able to find the target.
Yeah, but Jorix is going to stay on that play. It looks so open, and it is for Aziz. A 3-2 lead. 1:03 to go.
Well, that's how you lead by example. Nice little challenge there. A little bit of a weak touch, I will say, from Apples, but ultimately those are the mistakes you only make once, as now they have under 2 minutes to make amends for it. Only 6 shots coming in from Odium, and shooting percentage, I would say, let alone from them, has definitely been increased, as they've shown they don't really need a lot of looks at goal to be able to put them away.
I still think shooting percentage is like... It's a stat, but not the most telling stat. Yurix, though, just with the telling touch in this one, 2 defenders racing to get behind and can't get there in time. Another 2-goal lead.
I was wondering about the attitude and the comms. I'm wondering about the comms in general right there, as that ball had no one on the sidewall from Odium and not necessarily anything dangerous there, and that's the difficulty of going and wrapping around near post over the shoulder to get those clears. Sometimes you just kind of mistouch it, goes right into the opponents and can get put away, especially in a close game like that. I really don't feel like you need to be taking anything too drastic to get these touches. I would like someone to get them, as Kekos was briefly off my camera for a second. We'll be able to get that clear now. Up onto offense, looking for the redirect. Not going to be able to find it. Everyone believed in it from Apples America. Now they're all back into the midfield to rebuild.
Yeah, but they have a chance. Oh, it's a ghost touch. It kind of gets his Ziz off balance as well. Awkward play in case of the Whiffles going both sides. Under a minute left, and I kind of feel like both that backward setup and that follow-up was the chance realistically for American Apples to get into this, but only a handful of opportunities left in this game. It's looking more and more likely we're going to Champions Field, and something has to be said for Odium in that regard, that they've been able to bring it back twice, and Arbany's not going to get the goal in this one, but it's just really hard for American Apples right now to get any sort of momentum.
I'll be seeing Apples get across one. Wolf Tick flick over, but again shut down by Orbity. Another really soft touches. He's trying to make the most of it, and I do like this offense. Is a lot of it just annoying touches coming in from Odium. Sometimes they're going for passes, other times it's just flicking it directly across the defenders so they can't get the clear. Of course, mixed in with a healthy dose of fakes, Orbity getting yet another one as the defense on a string for them in this end of this game. They're just trying to close it on out. They're on the verge of yet another reverse sweep, and they're playing like they know it. Jorik's leading the way with a hat trick, but the entire squad looking splendid going into game number 5.
Yeah, that was a good showing from Odium. 2 early goals. Yes, they allowed the comeback, but then they shut it down just as quick. So really liking the form this team is in. There was a couple of little unforced errors, but they were able to recover in time. And car swap for Keckles. So American Apples definitely feeling like they need that reset in some regards, I think, when we look at it when it's all said and done. But I don't know. This was the Odium I thought we were going to see out of the gates in game number 1. I'm happy they've gotten to that stage now, as Ziz has had their plays. Yorick, again, returning to be that disruptive force. When this team starts clicking, I mean, I'm excited to see how far they can go, but back-to-back reverse sweeps, that's rare in so many different ways. The last hurdle's always the hardest. The question is now, can they do it?
It's especially interesting because I mentioned that a lot of teams, they do get better over time, and maybe that is Odium. Particularly in games 1 and 2, it looked just janky around the edges. It felt like they were playing very individualistically. They were getting some touches that were combinations, but it felt almost incidental, getting a 50 and then having a follow-up versus actually, I would say, just finding someone in open space. And then meanwhile, games 3 and 4, they're finding each other on pre-jumps. They're being able to zigzag, getting all 3 players involved, and I feel like that complete trust in each other showing through is what's been making the difference. I think if I'm Apples as American, then my first priority is making sure you police the midfield like a hawk. Do not allow those slow build-ups, and make sure you keep the speed up, because you don't want to play timid, especially against a team on a roll.
Yeah, but at that same token, every time they increase the pace, that's when they've been losing possession. They've been doing better when they have been able to slow it down. So I think it's less increasing the tempo, more controlling it in their terms. But they've been struggling because of plays from both Orbity and Yurix, just being able to disrupt them consistently. So you are right. Something needs to change. Maybe it is that increase in tempo. Maybe I'm a stickler for, what has been working in the past, but it hasn't been working recently. It's been all Odium those past couple games. Yurix right now looking for the bump. They have found it, but Orbity a little bit too slow for the shot.
Yeah, I believe I should clarify, not necessarily increasing the speed, but mostly just paying less respect to your opponents, as Keckles probably should have been respected a bit more on this air dribble. Did not look super promising in the beginning, but that reset had all the lift on it.
I mean, Ziz, wasn't expecting the reset right there. Super well done. And let's go back to the first couple games, how they got those goals. It was always led off by Keckles with the dribble down the middle. Finally, they get one for themselves, which is good to see, but Odium back against the wall one more time. They're kind of used to this position. I do fully expect for them to respond in kind soon enough.
He's actually Not necessarily going to give it away, but Jorx is going to be able to patiently gather that one in the corner. Fake through the midfield, a lot of space maybe to build up with boost as well from the sidewall. Orbity and Aziz waiting in the middle, one up for it. Like tap, it's going to be saved up on the backboard, so not clear yet. Everyone trying to loop back around. Soft catch into a roller in the middle. Luckily, Keckles hopped right on top of that one and puts it to the side.
Let's see where Orbity can take it. Has Aziz underneath, but just trying to buy that time. Aziz actually had to burn a lot of boost just to make sure that pass comes together, and I'm worried that might get Odium a little bit off balance. Orbity tries to do something, can't get too far with it, but there's no sense of urgency from the American Apples, so defense has recovered at least somewhat. Apples puts up a little bit of a lobber, easily read by Aziz. Wolftick shuts it down midfield. Orbity's going to do what they can off the backboard. Eventually, you know, we're going to see that tempo increase, I think, courtesy of the Odium side, but they are playing a patient game.
Ooh, that pass across his own touch. Keckles, maybe not anticipating that, but they just were not positioned appropriately, as I think they thought that first touch was going to get any semblance of a save. Either way, they're just going to have to shake their head and hang on to the fact that they still have a lead. For how much longer, who knows? Orbity with a lead demoed. Jorx trying to pass, but that took ages to get to Aziz, and he just has to take it back to the corner.
Where is the tempo? Where is the pace from Odium? They're just playing such slow ball, and again, I feel like all this benefits the American Apple side. They like the slower style. That's where they've been finding their successes. Not going to get it from Apples, but still, Keckles almost turns into a shot. Now Wolftick, a lot of space to work with, goes down underneath the Keckles. Apples was rotating back, has to make an awkward cut. They get a touch, but the attack should fizzle here. Under 2 minutes remaining. Only 3 shots from Odium, their lowest yet.
Wolftick able to touch one. The player behind them got demoed, but not really going to harm that offense as Wolftick continuing the solo venture. Z's shutting it down though. Orv just trying to test really how far up Apples really wanted to stretch, but luckily for the orange side, he's able to loop on back, and not only that, get the air dribble back into mid. And I do agree that they do like the slower tempo, and you're seeing it in really every single build-up. They're not afraid to take on that 50 or just kind of push that one forward, as they know it's just as important to be able to continue the offense as it is just really burn down this clock.
I love that bump because it keeps the attack going, but it still won't result in a goal. Yurix doing what they can out from the corner. Demo from Orvity. Taz's is on the other side, yet Apples is still able to find that interception. I mean, Orvity going on a bit of a spree right now, just demoing everybody, but it's still not been enough. A chance for Aziz right here. Double commit from the defense, but Orvity pushed a little too far forward. Now a demo. Now a chance for the team in orange, yet Yurix gets there first. Less than a minute to go, and here's a chance for Aziz. Can't get there in time.
Orvity again, he is having a lot of finesse plays, but he's also really been the enforcer, I would just say, on bad timing for the most part, as he tries to get a half rotation to be able to flick it up and over. A lot of the demos that he's been leading the way on just had no fouls because everyone is out into the wings. That shot coming in from Yurix, saved off the post. Aziz sealing. Orv does not go for it. Wolftick, no contact, so Apples just trying to take their precious time on this one. Low boost in general on that orange side as they're trying to withstand the final attack in the final 20. Aziz rolling down near post, off of that post and in.
Oh my goodness. Eventually, we were waiting for Odium to start to pull the trigger and kind of increase the tempo, and although it wasn't the fastest play, their positioning was as aggressive as you could get. And yeah, American Apples, they had to rotate out of the box to collect that boost. They felt it was necessary. They kind of get caught out. Now 15 seconds to go. Next goal could win this game, and it could come from Orvity here. The flick is a little too high.
And I will say, an incredible moment there from Odium to be able to keep their eyes on the horizon and look long term.
Oh no.
Just building up attacks. Wolftick, however, just noting that if they hit that, could have been over. Orv looking for a 50, tap down. Flicked up again. Yorks is on that one, but that's not going to be enough. Now only natural for the reverse sweep attempt. You got to go to OT all the way in this second series of the day.
And it now too. Yorick straight down the middle. Apples has to make a diving save. Odium so close once again. They're on the precipice. They've been on the cusp. Defense from American Apples has been playing so much on that knife's edge. But still, when you're in overtime, all it takes is one mistake, one overcommit, and it could all fall apart. It is going to be American Apples now on the attack, slowing it down. Keckles, usually so good on those dribbles, kind of let that one get away from him.
Aziz able to find Jorx again, and the lighter enough touch will at least produce, I would say, a comfortable catch, but instead it's going to be a deflection to the side wall. Apples, I don't think going to find Wolftick. Jorx knows it, and they're going to be able to get another air dribble up and over. This is chasing, and that's really all they're going to be able to do. As right now, I think the defense from Apples American is really what they need to hold on to, and even then, it's looking so frantic on the back end.
Yeah, it's so chaotic in so many situations. Orbiting now off the backboard. Kekles has to make an awkward touch. Just get to the corner. Wolftick rotates back. Apples rotates forward. All of this is trying to give the American Apples some space, some breathing room. Aziz, though, may have just shut that down. Ball's going to waterfall. It is going to be an Apple save despite the demo. Scary moment, though, for the team in orange. Odium, they're just in so much control so far throughout this OT.
And love that read from Apples as well. It's not a difficult, or not necessarily an easy read, rather, to be able to get. Same with that one, being able to flick it away from danger. Still not away from Orvity, though. Pinch across, Wolftick. Now, I'm not saying missed touch, but it's going to be way too away to be able to chase. Follow up clear, deflection again. Somehow he catches it. And I will say they will take that as they finally let the ball cross the midfield line.
Yeah, but are they going to be able to stay on the play? And the answer is no. I think they've been so conditioned to play so deep that they're just not really willing to whisk it forward until they see an overcommit from the Odium side, and that could be it. All three members are behind the ball. Apples just needs some powerful touch, but he kind of let the pressure get to him. It was a bit of a flubby play, unforced mistake, and maybe a missed opportunity for American Apples to end it there.
It's like all your muscles are tensed in that moment, and then the moment a miss comes in, it's like you just shake your head, you're not sure what you just saw. On top of the fact that if you don't have at least 30 boosts in the tank, you can't really speed that play back up. Either way, is that going to come back to haunt them? I suppose we'll have to let the next couple minutes decide. Or maybe just a singular shot. Kekles over the shoulder with a save. Orvity, the air dribble, pinch strike down, and yet again, they're able to get that save again, the Apples American side. And right now, they're going through all of the stages of grief right now if this continues, because this is just a constant barrage from the blue side.
Yeah, but the defense has been standing resolute, and again, they want the counterattack, the American Apples. Maybe they find it here because it's Apples down the middle and in! One moment, all it takes, American Apples go on to face the Gremlins.
His name is on the team sheet, and his name is the team for a reason. Leading by examples, a banger from midfield on the counterattack. Well played indeed, reverse sweep denial, and some drama at the end from constant defense to the singular moment of offense in that OT. It's all they needed, and what a game to be able to finish out the second series of the day.
All I'm saying is a little bit of redemption for Apples right there after, you know, they had that opportunity about a minute before. But my heart goes out to Odium because they were doing, it feels like, everything right on the attacking side. They were controlling, they were peppering, they were burning the resources, stealing resources away. They had everything except for that golden touch, except for that shot, and eventually I guess something had to give, and unfortunately it gave on their side. I mean, it's a heartbreaking loss, but American Apples survive, they get their redemption. Now they have to do it against the Gremlins, though, and that's going to be a tough ask.
It's a difficult thing, particularly because in that one way, you say, yes, you get your win, and now you have to play against the Gremlins, which that's not necessarily what any team wants, but you're still going to have to go through to be able to get potentially into that Gauntlet qualifier match. And I will say, if they can take anything from this series, is that they are very good playing in the clutch, as that last game was pretty much entirely based on the counters. And as long as those strikes come on through and they manage their boost better, maybe they can avoid those situations. But I was still impressed how many times it looked like guaranteed this is going to end in a goal, and yet they were just able to withstand for about 30 seconds straight on some of those defensive rotations. That is not easy to do without double committing or just completely flubbing a clear away.
It feels like every time a player kind of comes from another country into OCE for whatever reason, starts playing in these leagues, they're always so good defensively. Like that always seems to be their characteristic. I don't know. Maybe there's a bit of recency bias going on there. That's just a weird trend I've noticed. I'll be curious to see if that continues. Also, as an aside, just a quick shout out, the Brotherhood did 3-0 Gaming Gamers as well. So Brotherhood currently 6-0 on the day, powering right on to take on Physics. That's going to be a lot of fun. We are going to be signing off soon, throwing to other casters, so 4 teams remaining. I want to hear your prediction. Who's going through to the Gauntlet, Taco?
See, I'm not entirely sure. It's tough because I'm always tempted to just go with the higher seeds because we might talk about recency bias, but it depends on how recent we're talking. I feel like those higher seeded teams are usually there for a reason. You look at these games that we're watching on stream and you're saying, well, I don't know, they're playing pretty well, and then they just can't stand up to those higher seeds. So I'm going to go with maybe Gremlins on that top side. I mean, I feel like I've seen them play in previous broadcasts, so I'd like to say that team, but ultimately, at the end of the day, any team can make it on their, if they're just playing some good series back-to-back.
I want to see how far, though, like, physics can go as well, though, on that other side, because, again, I was talking about how Aziz could be that breakout player of the year. Matthew was another one who got my vote, hint, hint, and they've been looking pretty good at the moment. Either way, we are going to be going to the break. Thank you so much for joining us, Taco, but when the broadcast returns, it's going to be Yummy Cheese Man and Jake, the regulars, to bring the end to the Challenger Series. Once again, thank you so much for joining us, and, well, hopefully we can do this again soon, man.
I love it.
Yeah, no, I'm sturdy like a Millie Rocket. Skin clear, still look young, Andy Miller knockers. Money in my pocket, don't call me a money pocket. Engine get your rocket, it sound like a thunder rocket. Yeah, I still love my baby even when it's toxic. Crazy like she Britney, but no, she don't shade the knocket. No, Russell Wilson way I get low and stay in the pocket. I get paid and do my dance like a touchdown. Yeah, I can't do no time, don't leave that gun around. In my teens, we were acting up and running around. Now we're grown, still get to it if it's necessary. On the ground from January to January. Never met nobody who retired when they were young. So I guess I gotta get it to the cemetery. Getting paid just for rapping is fun. I lit up around a month of February. Told him side, no electric. It's getting hectic. 777. 777. Yeah. Told him side, no electric. Yeah. It's getting hectic. 777. Yeah. 777. Couple of money in my head just to say they did it. Can't lie, I'm so paranoid and the windows tinted. I own everything around me, you can say it's raining. Not talking phone numbers when I'm talking 7 digits. Earn it by the day, every second minute. Used to pay me none, look, now they pay attention. Everybody say they drip, but I banded it. See them copy all the looks, but I stay switching. Pick up the loot, then hit the bank. can never change. Still wrote the change. Captain say the pay, this ain't the day. They made me wait, I'm breaking chains. Yeah, yeah. Tommy feeling bubbly out the rose. Took a minute, but I got it out the soul way. Friends turn to foes, haters tell them go away. Rappers making shiggy dance like a soul train. Told them side, no electric. Yeah, it's getting hectic. 777. Yeah, 777. Yeah, told them slide, no electric. Yeah, it's getting hectic. 777. Yeah, 777.
Yeah, how do I sound with it when I hit the ground? 100-mile finish. My moment now ain't no mouse in us. I'm on the prowl and my style fitted. My time, give me high fives. Get a picture of the wise guy. What's a wave to a high tide? Never stop when you my size. Man, this my, I said this my moment. I said this my moment. I came here to own it. Man, this my moment. Man, this my, I said this my moment.
G'day. Hope you're all doing well. We're back with the Gauntlet challenges, and I'll just say we were a little bit surprised, or at least I was, because I didn't hear the producer in our ears. What about you, Jake?
No, I saw it coming. I was like, I bet Yummy's not going to be ready.
I kind of...
You did well.
Hey, look at this. Look at this. My hands also... Oh, wait, we're overlapping. We can almost hug. Oh, my God. Yeah, we're outside. Let's go. Well... We'll get those sorted out. And also, your head's too big for the frame.
I know. Look at this.
Hang on. Yeah! Woo!
Let me short myself. Ready? That's better.
Well, I hope you guys have all been enjoying the challenges so far. We had a fantastic Game 5 overtime match for the last one with maybe some surprise results down in the lower bracket as well, Jake.
What is going on in the lower bracket? The Brotherhood is just absolutely sweeping everything.
I guess we shouldn't call it the lower bracket, but the lower side of the bracket might be a little bit more apt to say. Yeah, the Brotherhood coming 3-0. Prompt, who has been talked about a lot over the last few months as the newest 15-year-old in OCE, having a good performance, of course, especially because Tea Time has some well-known players, and Gaming Gamers were the team that managed to have the big run in week 1.
I am keen to watch, Brotherhood coming up. It's definitely exciting, and that 15-year-old buff, man, you can't compete with it.
I mean, you can. Just because they're 15-year-olds doesn't mean you can't beat them. I'm sure there's plenty of 15-year-olds that are as bad as you are, so, like, come on.
No, it sounds like Prompt's doing well. And who's the other one? Creed? Creed's been around for a while, right?
Yeah, Creed's been around. I think he burst up against an ex-teammate, Viss, on Tea Time in the first round. Managed to take that victory. So, it'll be really interesting to see how this team goes up against Physics, who just picked up this roster. Matthew, Cheery, and Morse from last week's challenges. And Formal said that he voted Matthew for Rising Star of the Year.
I think I may have as well. Because it was top 3, right? I think Matthew's top 3.
He really only entered in this competition, so recency bias may be a little bit in there. But if you guys have not yet voted in the RLO Awards, guys, get in there. It's a way for us to celebrate the year that was 2023, even though it feels like half the year was completely empty, because it was, except for, of course, this tournament here, which is filling the off-season gap, $30,000 tournament. Nothing, of course, to bark at, but make sure you get in there, vote for Matthew, and we'll see how everything goes. We'll be doing that award ceremony probably early on in December.
I think the whole team on Physics have been kind of rising stars. They've all
Not more. Morse has been around the block.
Yeah, I also mean like the team in general. This team it feels like it's come out of nowhere, and they've put in some consistent results recently.
I don't know if Baz is on that list, but I think Baz would be a good shout for Rising Star. If he is on that list. I don't know, he might not have made that list. I did vote, I just forgot who I voted for, so...
Yeah. I completely forgot all mine as well. I'm pretty sure I voted for Matthew, though. He's good.
He's got a good name. Easy to remember. He's named after himself, just like...
Me.
Yeah, you, Jake the Tyrant.
He should have gone for Matt. Even easier.
Matt the Tyrant.
Matt the Tyrant.
Alright, 58% going to Physics. I'm going to tell you what, Jay. I thought the Brotherhood would be good in that first series. I predicted them over Tea Time, and they kind of crushed it. They've been Gaming Gamers. I think this continues on with the Brotherhood. Not just winning this, but I think they're going to win it strongly.
You reckon it's going to be another 3-0?
I think they're going to get in the prize money.
Nice. Yeah, well, this is the match to do it, right? Grand final, and you get the dollars. I am slightly favoring Brotherhood as well. I think the buff you get from like warming up, getting all that confidence, goes a long way here. Physics, I hope they've been doing some good free play.
Creed doesn't have too much prize money. I just looked up, did a bit of an earnings check over there on the players for TB. Creed has $600. I'm assuming that's US. And Baz actually has $1,900 for some of his results that have happened in JBL Quantum Grand Slam, where he earned ridiculous amounts of money there. But we're going to get underway. Physics versus the Brotherhood. Winner gets the cash, gets the chance to go all the way to the Gauntlet tomorrow.
It's a tough potential grand finals if Gremlins go through. I mean, the Apples team were not looking too bad either, but still, that's a tough, as you're saying,
were they looking too bad? All they had to do was beat Odium.
Oh, you gotta be careful with your words, bro.
Well, it's going to be interesting to start of this one, because the start of the day, I felt like the Brotherhood, not quite working as a Brotherhood. They didn't live up to their name. They weren't gelling too well as a team, but as the series went on, they got a lot more comfortable. They started passing the ball back and forth a lot more. That's going to be the interesting note, because I don't think up against a team like Physics, who has been getting better week on week, is going to let them have a rough start and get away with it.
You can already see Physics are gelling together quite well. They've been connecting. You can see how quick they're playing in this offense. They're not giving Brotherhood much time to breathe here, but Prompt now, that's the second time he's made a good breakaway.
I think there's also like a little letter of note to be picked up by Physics, because they've always, as an org, been very much focused on trying to pick up a team that will stay together long term and get better and better. I don't think they really found the success that they wanted with the old roster, but I think that kind of gives you a little sign of the intent of these things.
They certainly have high aspirations. They got to prove it though. Got to win here. Here's Matthew being tricky, but honestly not getting too much done there.
All prompts.
Makes it look easy on the other side. Matthew, why can't you just do that?
Lovely from Prompts. Takes it high. Morse and Cheery, not quite sure which one should go. Did have boost on the last one. And that's a great angle. Showing up the Prompts. Exactly why he's been hyped up through this offseason. We're expecting high mechanics from the young lad.
And that's what I like to see as well, is that they're not just flashy mechanics. He makes it look so easy. You could just see the whole way that was spot on. If the defenders didn't have it, it was going in, and he was clinical till the very end.
Chance again. Morse. Oh, Cheery came through, almost passed it back. It's a scramble defense right now. Unfortunately for Morse, he's pinched that one high. A follow-up chance, and there's Matthew to finish that goal and tie up the game.
It's a team play we were talking about. We had the prompt individual brilliance for the first goal, but this is just a solid pressure goal. Too much for the Brotherhood, and Physics tied up.
3 minutes. Started off pretty quiet in this game, but 2 back-to-back goals now. Especially ones that are kind of very different in their style. In terms of Prompt's goal coming all the way from his own back half. The goal over there for Phys6 was a much more pressure-based game, and there's Morse again looking to set up again. Here we go, another touch against the backboard. Rotation from Morse. Chance to go around, but he'll focus on stealing the boost away and maintaining the pressure.
See, pressure is certainly the name of the game, whereas counterattacks is where the Brotherhood are shining. Always looking threatening, but feels like Physics is starting to smarten up to it, getting back quicker.
It'll work well as long as the Brotherhood can find those boosts, and I think that makes it more important that Morse boost stealing, back corner boost is going to at least prevent those counterattacks from coming through. See how that does continue on, or where the Brotherhood maybe steps forward, finds a way to win the battle in the midfield as Baz attempts to do just that, but it's a pass across to his opponent. A counter-attack. It's completely open. The missed touch. He sent it wide.
Open nets, Yummy. They're so hard. The pressure is on. That was a rough double commit as well.
Yeah.
I'm not sure who missed that, but they'll be absolutely kicking themselves.
Fortunate, but both teams, I guess, got away with a little mistake as see more pressure coming out from Phys6, almost hitting it on. Starting to run low on boost here. Managed to grab that corner boost, so Brotherhood a chance to get out. The miss is not going to help. Does that lead to more pressure? Morse up to the backboard, over to Matthew, who finishes and clinches the second goal.
It's beautiful Rocket League, just consistent pressure. The teamwork is there. Brotherhood unable to keep those rotations clean. Scramble till the end, but it's not enough. Physics take the lead.
This is the kind of Rocket League that you'd like, Jake. You know, the Alpha Sydney back in the day. Hit the backboard a lot, steal the boost away, keep it high, and strangle your opponents from having a chance at defense.
No mechanics needed, Yummy. That's the kind of style we need.
But you had Drippe and Torsos. They had mechanics.
Yeah, that was cool.
Unfortunately, these days, everybody has mechanics, so it's a big difference almost. Prompt going for stylish pinch or half volley off his own teammate. There's a bump coming out from Morse, who's been doing a lot of work as kind of a disruptor first man.
They're doing a great job. You can see the pressure is still coming. Brotherhood impressively holding on there. And again, these counterattacks still looking dangerous. Here's another shot, but Morse, great recovery.
You do have to get a little worried about, with this low amount of time remaining, that they've done themselves in with a bit too much of the counter-attacking. This time, follow-up attack. Baz! Gets the extra touch off the wall.
They were never able to handle that awkwardness. The counter-attack's pressure continued. Beautiful pass, you're right. Straight to Baz. Great positioning as well. Being ready for it. they tie up the game with 30 seconds left.
And especially because Prompt, I was almost about to criticize him. I was in the middle of criticizing, kind of being a bit too direct a few times. And I think that was set up by the fact that they kept counterattacking. But that time, it's understandable. He looks like he's going to be direct towards the net. The defender commits for the save, which makes the pass all the more successful.
That's what you tend to see out of the 15-year-old superstars. They'll tend to be a bit more solo play focused, doing everything themselves. So that's great potential if we see him have that awareness of his teammates. Here's Matthew with a great chance. It's off the ceiling, but it's cleared out into overtime.
Don't tell that to Zen, mate. Zen comes out into RLCS, obviously very successfully, and all of a sudden becomes one of the best team players despite his solo ability. So I think there is definitely a lot more smarts in the young players than maybe sometimes given credit for, because the mechanics kind of are the thing that everybody's looking at.
Doesn't count, Yummy. Zen was 16. We're talking about 15-year-olds here.
Okay, fair enough. Alright, we'll see in a year how smart he is. There we go, Creed has taken the Brotherhood across the line. It is a repeat of their very first game of the day, where they were down, they were looking in a rough position, but they make the fight back and they take it in OT.
It's another counterattack, another solo play counterattack as well, similar to that first one from Prompt. And Creed did a great dribble there, keeping it under the crossbar. That was impressive.
I like the Brotherhood's ability to hold on to the defense for a long time. They have less shots overall than Physics, who, as we know, were going for more of a pressure play style. So they're likely to lead to more shots. The thing is, Jake, it was, 12 shots over to 10? That's not a big difference for a team that is trying to pin you into your own half. For those kind of teams, you want to see double the shots.
It was interesting because it felt like Physics were playing that pressure style, but it also felt like Brotherhood were kind of like crumbling to the pressure quite quickly, but then also that sometimes scrappiness allowed them to maybe bait in Physics, and then they got those awesome counterattacks. So you're right, it was that pressure style, but in reality, they weren't actually pressuring for as much as the games they were probably after.
There was definitely a couple of those counterattacks that they kind of happened because there was a double commit. They saw the goal in front of them. They were like, yes, we see somewhat of an opening, and there's two people on the board. But I mean, that is what the refinement of Phys6 is going to do as time goes on. They'll be a little bit more spread out, a little bit more understanding of those mistakes that can very easily happen when you feel like you're in attack for a very long time. You get maybe a little overconfident, would you say, Jake?
I guess so. I mean, they're certainly going to be disappointed. A little bit desperate, for sure. I think Physics are not going to be too happy with dropping that last game, because when you are that pressuring team, you feel so in control. It feels like the counterattacks are preventable. Wow, that was a great shot from Matthew. The pressure continues, and Chiri's going to open up the scoring.
A few moments there where Creed missed a ball that he possibly could have reached, especially the first one off the backboard. Sent them reeling a little bit, and saw the pressure of Phys6 has been able to do. 3 shots in a row is very hard to execute if you don't have proper rotations.
Oh, they look awesome. Again, coming in cold as well. Absolutely ready to play this series, but they're a game down. These counterattacks are still dangerous. It's Creed again, but the defense is there this time.
Do you think that's a slightly underrated part of the warm-up, is that, some people need to warm up mechanics, but otherwise you need to warm up your rotations as well?
Absolutely. No, that's why you see these teams wanting to scrim, right? You can't just sit in free play, get warm mechanically, because things can go wrong with the communication.
You say that, I think the same thing, but I remember RLCS Season 2, Pashi, the Rocket Esports crew, Pashi, Devo, and I don't remember who else it was. They were backstage, they were warming up, and they wanted to warm up in free play. They're like, I just want a little warm up on my mechanics, that's all we need. We don't need to, scrim or anything like that. And I was very surprised, but they were very successful.
I've heard a few teams don't want to overthink too much, right? That if you get 2 in your head, it can be tough. Another thing people say that was a pretty sick goal from Prompt, actually.
He's had a couple of really good double taps. He's very good at getting that ball kind of into a position that's difficult for the defenders. He's taking it high enough for the defenders to be difficult, but not too difficult for him to follow up. And Creed has followed up himself with another goal off the kickoff.
Creed has been so fast in offense, finding these great opportunities. That is slow from Matthew as well, though. Yeah, not going to be happy with how these goals are going in.
2-1 lead right now. Interesting to see exactly how the comeback does occur for Fizz6. Do you think that they should stick with the pressure play style, or need something a bit more in order to be taking down this team, or even just tighten it up so they don't have the counterattacks against them?
I think it's all about tightening up. Yeah, you gotta just respect what feels like the mechanics. They've been absolutely dominated by these dribbles, these double touches from Prompt. Their offense has been great. You can see this pressure still looking so dangerous. It's just those counterattacks that are killing them.
Oh, there's a good chance for Morse, but still blocked out just now for the Brotherhood, and those clutch saves have worked to counterattacks once again. Prompt gets the third on the board, his second in the game.
Again, just these solo plays. Too easy. Cheery just caught in two minds there. Didn't have time to get the boost of Prompt. Does not let him get away with it.
He went for a boost over ball. His turn for the boost maybe a little bit slow as well. That could have allowed him to get back to it. As he said, a little in two minds there. Maybe a chance he could have got back to make the save, but it's once again another counterattack from the Brotherhood that has been so successful for them in the first two games so far. Instead, now it's going to be Fizz6 with a counterattack chance of their own, but they hit the ball very far forward. It's going to make it difficult to get a follow-up. They will start a potential pressure play if Cheery can keep this in, but he gets beaten by Prompt. Creedy into the corner. Is there going to be a follow-up? No. Matthew is there to block it out.
Baz decided to stay conservative. Maybe Physics need to take some notes. Because he stopped the counterattack. They keep up this pressure, and now suddenly this is looking dangerous. Creed's getting some good touches. Prompt is set up, but the shot is a bit weak.
They've been very direct, but they've been very successful because they've taken the ball high in the air so far. The Brotherhood put it into awkward positions where they may be able to get flip resets or dunk follow-ups. We saw that from Creed in that last play, and we've seen others from Prompt. He's looking for the flip reset, double taps, anything to beat out the defenders. So the fact that they're going very direct usually makes it a little easier to defend, but it also makes it a much faster counter-attack. And there we go! Off the bar, off the post. Fourth goal. Creed getting on the board again.
More beautiful pass plays. Look at this 1-2. That was stunning. Top corner. Morse just unable to keep that one out. And the lead continues 4-1.
Quick passes as well. And it's been the name of the game for the Brotherhood. Their direct play. In this case, it was a passing play that does slow it down, but of course speeds it up in its own right. It was fast pass down right onto the nose. Allowed him to generate the extra power. 4-1. And 1 minute remaining. We'll note Fizz6 have asked for a little bit of time between this game. So we might have a longer break after this one, just for them to sort out some kind of technology issue they're having.
Classic OCE internet. I'm watching Physics at the moment, Yummy. Feels like they're maybe starting to feel a bit desperate. I mean, I still like their offense they were doing. I want to see them trust that pressure play style, but things seem to be falling apart a bit.
It was certainly... It was really good. It was really effective for the goals that they did score. Creed gets his hat-trick, but it just felt like they maybe didn't quite trust the process or didn't quite find the right time to strike a few of those times in those pressure plays, Jake. And, the double commit, for example, was a fight back against them. A little bit of overcommitment here or there. So, I agree. I think just tighten it up and they'll be fine because they looked really good when they were doing it.
Yeah, Prompt is making these solo plays look way too easy. Just beautifully flip resetting seemingly everything. Now Baz is scoring from midfield somehow. Nothing is going Physics' way.
Yeah, well, it was about time Baz scored a goal, mate. Creed has 3, Prompt has 2. You didn't even have 1. He doesn't have any assists either. I don't hate to call him out. I was going to say I hate to call him out. I don't hate to call him out. I love calling him out. 1 goal in a 6-goal game. Do better.
Do better. Make it 7. That might be good for the confidence, though. Physics getting a nice goal off the kickoff, punishing whatever Brotherhood were trying to cook up there.
Yeah, I'm not 100% sure what the strategy on that kickoff was, whether it was a attempted fake. You don't usually go for the fake on the diagonal kickoff, just because obviously your opposition's also coming from a diagonal. But, well, I guess it didn't really matter. They were already 5 goals ahead.
That's how you get the mind game, though, Yummy. When they're not expecting it, you throw in the fake.
They'll
get scored
never
on.
do it off the corner kickoff. Oh, wait, we've scored.
Well, 6-2 is probably how this match is going to end. The ball hitting the ground. It's
good prediction.
confirmed.
That was great.
I know. Couldn't even be confident in that one.
It might end in a 6-2 with 1 second remaining, and they did. And saw Creed get his hat-trick. Creed and Prompt have shown up to be such a decisive attacking duo. 9 shots between the two of them. Guess how many shots Baz got?
Baz got a fat 0, but he got a goal. So
He got a goal.
His shooting percentage better than everyone else.
Yeah, infinite % shooting accuracy. Gotta love that. Over at the other end, they had an extra 5 shots on them, but the pressure is not breaking the Brotherhood defense anymore.
Wow, you're right. Yeah, physics. It didn't feel like they were getting that many shots. That felt like Brotherhood was seriously starting to take control of the series.
Jar's trying to call me out on kickoffs. And I'll be honest, I have a go-to kickoff. That's the double backflip kickoff. You know, take both the back corner boost, let them just randomly hit the ball. So much better than just attempting to fake it, you know?
Mm-hmm. How do you defend the dribble? You just don't respect?
No, the cheater defends a dribble attempt.
Ah, yeah.
So you have a cheater, they are like a slow cheater. If the opponent tries to do any funny business, then they have to shut it down, whether that's like stopping a dribble or maybe going after a demo or a boost steal over on the side, because they will have the cheater will usually have a boost advantage over the person who kicked off, that sort of stuff.
I like the idea. Why don't we see it more? Players just boring.
Power have done it, and Vitality do it as well. So there are teams that have successfully used that, but it's. I'll be honest. I know we're going on a tangent here while we're in this tech pause. We pretty much did it every single time we kicked off. For every kickoff we ever did. It probably is much better right now as a change-up, and also for people who have better mechanics than we do. Because I think the biggest weakness of that kickoff for somebody with low mechanics is when the kickoffer of the opposing team hits the ball over the top of your head in the corner. For somebody with very little mechanics, it can be really tricky to handle.
Just wall clear it into the ceiling and then get scored on.
Yeah, you know how it is, ball going over your head, there's a corner there, you get a little confused, and so it gives the opportunity for that person to just kind of rush. But from when I've seen people who have good mechanics do that same game plan, that same kickoff, they haven't struggled with it at all. They can do a lot more around the wall, they can catch it, they can read the wall, the corner better.
I hope Physics are using the most of this unofficial, what's the word, timeout. They need to figure out what's going on here, because that second game was a bit of a blowout.
There is an official technical timeout, which means there is a timer running. I don't know what the time on it is, but if that time does run out, they will need to get a sub. I'll just quickly look that up to see who their sub might be, because I'm actually not sure. Let's see. They don't look to have a listed sub on Wikipedia, so I don't know if they'll have it.
I think you get you like forfeit a game every 10 minutes or something. I'm pretty sure that's these rules as well. So whatever net issues they are, he's got to fix it soon. There's 4 minutes to go. Timer is ticking down.
4 minutes, and they can't afford to drop a game. So
you're right.
They drop a game, they drop the series. So they need to get somebody in. They need to get. I think it was Matthew having the issues. Yeah, they need to get Matthew in. And Morse has given us an update that he is coming back. So he must have restarted his internet.
Hope so. 4 minutes left. I think we'll have to see. Tech pauses can be so frustrating for both teams. I mean, who wants to stop playing Rocket League?
Hey, Can somebody think of the little guys, Jake? The casters, the commentators who have to sit there and waffle on for multiple minutes pretending that they know anything about the video game, Jake?
Yeah, I mean, you love hearing yourself talk. Don't pretend you hate this.
You're right. Do you wanna just do like a podcast after this stream is over, and we'll just talk about, I don't know. What would you do a podcast on if you could? The Aussies won the cricket. So
yeah.
OC might not be able to win at Worlds, but we can win the cricket. Let's go.
We won the cricket. Didn't we like really smash India or something?
Yeah. Jai Richardson wasn't there, by the way. But we did smash him. Mm-hmm. Isn't that my job?
You're a professional cricket player, Yummy.
No, professional waffler. Is the job. That doesn't mean that there is, this is a good chat. So we're in a community tournament here. You get a chance to chat a little bit. That doesn't mean that there's not more and less enjoyable parts of the job, such as figuring out what to talk about for 5 minutes. I think we're pretty good at it, Jake, because we just don't even talk about what's going on.
Where do we got things to talk about, like the cricket apparently. I mean,
well, I'm really excited. Jar less so. He told me to shut up.
Off stream we were talking about the weather, which I think is a pretty interesting topic of conversation as well.
Yeah, guys, in Sydney it's raining all week, and just like it was in the physics net last game, am I right? We're heading in to game number 3, and the Brotherhood in a very good spot.
Brotherhood are chillin'. I hope Physics fixed their internet. They're gonna need it. Already Brotherhood looking good off the kickoff. Creed still looking dangerous, but defense is there.
Maybe a attempted counterattack from Matthew. It's blocked right in front of the net, and it'll still be the follow, and here's that pressure. Look at the rotations coming out. Matthews hit that high. Will there be a follow-up? Another crossbar. Please go in! Oh, they did all the work, and they couldn't finish it.
Oh, I don't know if they got faked.
Oh, they still can't.
Oh, this is not the start they needed. It was looking good, but that crossbar just haunts them.
It's that the first crossbar, like they were trying to score on what would have been a scoreable opportunity. That first crossbar is fine. It's that follow-up player that you really need to finish it off, because after that it's going to be really difficult to get that third player, especially with the ball bouncing around the crossbar and into awkward positions. If that third player is not in the right spot at the right time, which just requires a bit of luck, then you're probably not scoring the goal.
Look at this. Brotherhood have gotten out of their half. They've survived that pressure that was looking so good for Physics. I just hope Physics can hold their nerve now. That must be so frustrating on top of everything that's been going on.
I'll be really interested to see if they kind of continue going for those pressure plays after it didn't work for them. And Baz, he doesn't need pressure. He just goes for a solo play. High touch here. Follow up underneath. Gets the flip reset. Morse attempting to get it around, but there was always the block.
So smooth, so fast, so quick. Baz could be 15 and fool me, man. That was clean.
Well, hasn't managed to get too many goals this series, but that was a high-quality one. It's putting the Brotherhood in another good stead. I mean, you got to remember, these guys haven't dropped a single game yet today. They're only 8-0. Could be going 9-0. Could be getting in the prize money if they win this game, which is starting to look more and more likely. And Cheery has to do a lot here on the defense's last man. Baz will take the shot. Matthew manages to get it high, prompt. Maybe an opportunity with 2 demos or a bump and a demo coming out. And here's our first opportunity to see the pressure to come out from the Brotherhood. They're now just going for those wider rotations, those boost steals.
They're taking their time. They're really slowing this play down, though, which I don't think is to their favor. Gave Physics enough time to get the boost, and they got out with it.
Most notably, Cheery did really well to keep all his boosts there, because that pressure would have led to a goal if he couldn't get up to that ball. Now it's a 3v1 situation. Baz is going to slow it down. We'll slow down the play and give Morse a chance to get back, though.
Didn't get the power, but the pressure is still on. Baz has an opportunity to turn. There's a team pinch. Prompt's going to miss, but Baz is there to clear it out.
At least Prompt did prevent your opponents
Oh,
from coming
no.
too close. There's another crossbar. Matthew filling out a little sigh. It probably feels like at this point in time, 2 minutes. They've had their chances. They just need to sink one in, Physics.
They're struggling. Right, there's only 2 minutes left. This game has gone by so quickly. Physics feels like they've had so many chances, but there's another missed one. Cheery backflipping.
Yeah, he misread the roof bounce. Expected that maybe to go a little bit closer to him. Going straight past, and now Cheery, another chance. 1:40 left. How many attacking opportunities have now been shut down by the Brotherhood?
Brotherhood have stepped up their defense, shutting down these opportunities, forcing these mistakes, forcing Physics to rush their shots. Here's Baz, he's got a pass opportunity for Prompt. Selfishly takes himself. I can't believe that one.
Will there be the counterattack? Cheery has gotten 50'd out, and Prompt wins the race. It's an awkward position now for the blue team. Physics will be struggling. As long as Cheery can get that touch, it'll be good. Prompt,
Here we go.
awkward, in the 1v1, manages to get just enough on the ball. The little tip over is given Cheery a chance. A bump on the backboard, avoided by Creed. And Morse will try and continue. There's no longer any juice left in that attack. They're scrapping forward with just a little boost left. And Morse, pass back for the team bump. It's not going to cost them.
They tried to keep it alive. Here's a great chance. No one's in net. Matthew to Cheery. Cheery can't get the redirect.
And he's trying to get the bump on the defender. And again, Creed, I think it was, managed to avoid the bump. He's done so well with that. And that should be the clincher. Prompt at the other end off the defensive effort of the Brotherhood.
Baz being too tricky. The 50-50 works perfectly for Prompt, but he's always been there all series long. And now things go from bad to worse for Physics. They need a good kickoff here.
30 seconds. Is that enough time for Physics? They haven't been a very direct team. They haven't been a team looking like they'll score fast. They're more looking for the siege. They need to change it up and show what they have in these high-pressure, high-scoring requirement situations. And it's not working out for them so far. 15 seconds. That's not even a helpful touch, though that is out from the defender. Baz almost gave them a chance, but it's also helped the clock tick down, and Morse needed a score there. It will be the Brotherhood going through 3-0, 9-0 on the day into the prize money. They'll just have one team left if they want to make it to the Gauntlet.
You called it, Yummy. Said we had another 3-0 on our hands. Physics, I mean, they just got better and better as the series went on. Oh, sorry, not Physics.
Yeah, you should
They
listen
got
to me a
worse
bit
and worse.
more. You should listen to me more, Jake. I am always right, so just to let you know. But great performance from the Brotherhood. They're looking good throughout. In particular, they've struggled a few times in Game 1 so far. But now once they get into those Game 2s, those Game 3s, they look a lot better. I'm just going to update the bracket as well. Just to see, so Gremlins did go 3-1 over in the upper side of the bracket. So they are also through.
I don't know. Up against Gremlins, I think Brotherhood are going to have to even hit another level if they want to take that one out.
Well, so far, you know, they haven't really been truly pushed, have they?
At least Game 1. Game 1 they were pushed.
Okay. Well, look, team that struggled a little bit in Game 1 up against a team that has been maybe struggling in the Gauntlet, has been knocked out of a top position of the Gauntlet in Week 1. They have slowly moved out. They want to reclaim their throne. The Brotherhood want to enter in for the first time, and especially to validate all the talk about Prompt. So we're going to go to a quick break and be right back with that grand final.
Crazy like she Britney, but no, she don't shade the knock. No, Russell Wilson, way I get low and stay in the pocket. I get paid and do my dance like a touchdown. Yeah, I can't do no trying to leave that gun around. In my teens, we were acting up and running around. Now we're grown, sticking to it if it's necessary. On the ground from January to January. Never met nobody who retired when they were young. So I guess I gotta get it to the cemetery. Getting paid just for rapping is fun. I lit up around a month in every February. Told them slide, no electric. 777, 777, yeah. Told him slide, no electric, yeah. It's getting hectic, 777, yeah. 777, Couple of money in my head just to say they did it. Can't lie, I'm so paranoid and the windows tinted. I own everything around me, you can say it's rented. Not talking phone numbers when I'm talking 7 digits. Earn it by the day, every second minute. Used to pay me none, look, now they pay attention. Everybody say they drip, but I banded it. See them copy all the looks, but I stay switching. Pick up the loot, then hit the bank. Can never change, still wrote the change. Captain say the pay, this ain't the day. They made me wait, I'm breaking chains. Yeah, yeah. Call me feeling bubbly off the rose. Took a minute, but I got it out the slow way. Friends turn to foes, haters tell them go away. Rappers making shiggy dance like a soul train. Told them slide, no electric. Yeah, it's getting hectic. 777. Yeah, 777. Yeah, told them slide, no electric. Yeah, it's getting hectic. 777. Yeah, 777.
Yeah. How do I sound with it when I hit the ground? 100-mile finish. My moment now ain't no mouse in us. I'm on the prowl and my style fitted. My time, give me high fives. Get a picture of the wise guy. What's a wave to a high tide? Never stop when you my size. Man, this my, I said this my moment. I said this my moment. I came here to own it. Man, this my moment. Man, this my, I said this my moment.
Here at the grand final of the Gauntlet Challenges, we are ready to crown a champion and send somebody through to the Gauntlet tomorrow. Will it be Gremlins returning Jake, or is there going to be some fresh faces?
Gremlins need to earn their spot back. They got knocked out. They've been chilling in that Gauntlet, so they've got some tough competition to get back to where I'm sure they feel they belong.
One thing to note is that the Gremlins have secured their spot now in the finals by making it to this spot, so they will be at least in that top 8 on the final point standings, which means at a minimum they'll be in that lower bracket half of finals. But they all want to get into the top 4, where you get a second life, you get into the upper bracket. So a really, really crucial win for them. They need to not just kind of get into the Gauntlet, but they're also going to have some decent runs over the next 2 weeks.
They might even be thankful they dropped down, if you want to put a positive spin on it. Get some more practice in, because it's tough in the Gauntlet as soon as you play you up against some tough competition.
Of course, if they won, they would have just got more points. So I don't know how that...
Yami, don't be negative. Don't be
very
negative.
casterism of you, I would say.
Casterism.
Very casterism of you. But the Brotherhood, of course, also could be trying to nab a lot of points, because they're not yet in the top 8. They have a long road to maybe get into those finals. And it would be pretty impressive, considering they only came together halfway through the Gauntlet.
Yeah, have they been? So, they started like last week or something, did they? Because I haven't seen them really before this killer run.
I don't know if they were here last week. Let me go. I have the page up, so I will just quickly check if they were there under a different name. No, they weren't at least qualified. They may have played in the qualifiers, but they didn't at least qualify.
Well, it's been quite a 2-week break for them. They figured something out right. But again, up against Gremlins, such a top-tier team, it's going to be tough to advance to that Gauntlet.
They've had a little of their ups and downs, the Gremlins, but they do have some of the best mechanics of everyone in the region. I heard Cobbo gave you some compliments this week, so... Yeah,
I can't say anything bad about Cobbo. My appreciation can be bought with a nice Twitter comment, so if any players are sick of me roasting them, you know what to do.
Yeah, well, I think you're a terrible caster and a terrible person, so you have free reign to roast me as much as you like today.
Alright, Yami, you got it coming.
To be fair, that's never stopped you in the past. I give you lots of compliments off stream and never really helped out, but I guess
Why
that's
not on stream then, Yami? Don't be shy.
Well, I don't know. It's a little embarrassing to say nice things like how cute you are and how I love your hair.
Anyone can use these in their tweets. Again, if you don't want me to trash talk you, I can be bought.
Fair enough. Well, the Gremlins in the driving seat, but the Brotherhood have gone undefeated in games today. Again, I do look at the game 1 for the Brotherhood. They've struggled in game 1. I think they've won every single one, but they had to make a comeback in game 1, every single series that they've played. And will this be the first one where maybe Gremlins are too strong for that to be a possibility?
Like you mentioned though, Gremlins, well, they at least lost one match against Apples is American, so maybe at least needed that warm-up match. Hopefully they don't need it here. Again, best of 5 in this qualifier match. Neither team really has the chance to slow down.
Yeah, as we head into this match as well, want to give 2 little shout-outs. First off, exclamation mark awards in chat. RLO are doing the yearly community awards that are fantastic. Make sure you get your vote in. For those, if you haven't already, there's already people in chat that you'd recognize. Matthew, who we saw earlier. Now let's get underway for this match. See who will make it through the gauntlet tomorrow.
Brotherhood are also looking to try and book themselves in for the Gauntlet finals. So big things on the line here.
Woohoo! That is actually pretty good from Creed.
Creed's been playing good all day, bro.
No, but like, it was a little bit of a surprise. The old backflip flick over the top of what is the strongest of favourites in the competition at the moment, and Creed follow-up shot as well, but Cobbo just reaching to get that out.
Nice save, but the pressure continues. That's a dangerous ball. Creed's going to get a shot, but the power's not there. Caleb gets the save, but the pressure continues.
Turn around, Baz has hit the backboard. Another chance for Creed, and he's once again just inched to the ball. He's had a quick fire start in the first minute to this series.
I mean, the whole team has. Feels like Gremlins have had nothing going in offense here. Stuck in their half. We didn't see much of this from Brotherhood. It was all those counterattacks that won them the last series, but here they come out strong. But Cobbo, the first one to get a great clear. If he had more boost, he might have had that.
This is very much what we wanted to see from the Brotherhood. A quick start, a dominating, controlling start. One where they're not spending a lot of time in the defensive half. And I think that is potentially on purpose and a very smart thing, because I feel like if you give room to Gremlins to go on the counterattack, to have a boost in their pocket, they're the kind of team that can do a lot with the ball.
You're right, it might be respect, but I also think that like one of the perks of being those 15-year-olds and those up-and-coming teams is you tend to not have as much respect, and that can play in your favor. So I also want to see, you know, Brotherhood not shy away from that.
Have the Gremlins got a lot of respect?
I don't know.
I think you get over-respected by some teams coming up?
Are you saying, like, you think they might be underestimating the Brotherhood? Again, I was.
Well, I'm kind of saying, like, you know, maybe there's too much respect against the likes of X Ground Zero and Pioneers and Power, yes. and then maybe these kind of teams that are just sort of just below those are the teams that everyone's like, well, this is the team we should go after. This is the team we try and beat.
No, exactly. I mean, I just think about when Pioneers came onto the field, all three of them were like 15, no respect in the world, and smashed everyone.
Something you got to do. It's also, it helps you take a few extra risks. It helps you kind of play for some of the mistakes, the misses that do come out from even the best teams at times. So, got to be ready for them. So far, the Brotherhood have done well. This is now their first real test in defense, and they've lived up to it this game, which is important because they've been so successful defending so far in the rest of the tournament.
Gremlins have finally gotten out of their half. This game is feeling more even now, even setting up some pressure already. Brotherhood looking a bit awkward, but clearing it out.
They forced out the double commit, but there was still plenty of boost, and Creed pulled out very quickly. So even though they double committed, they were able to kind of adjust quick enough to not get too punished just yet. And Gremlins, this might be their chance as Cobbo tries to beat out Baz, and he gets the extra touch. Is there going to be the follow-up from Caleb? It's been a very kind of seesaw battle at the moment. Both the teams kind of giving the other a little bit of respect.
Well, it's been stuck in the midfield for the last few minutes, you're right. Feels like Gremlins had a bit more of the chances here, but Brotherhood, with their scrappy defense, I mean, it's been working out for them today.
Less early challenges, I should say, than we have seen throughout the rest of the tournament, and that's to be somewhat expected from the Gremlins, who aren't a challenge-heavy team. Here we go with the play. Caleb up high. Baz has done so well to get that touch.
That was a tough one. Caleb thought he was going to play it slow, but he faked me out at least with that quick touch, but defense still strong for Brotherhood.
Maybe this is the moment for Creed, because he's been looking better in this game than he has previously. He was looking good, but he's been looking extraordinary so far in this game. And maybe it is the fact that he's up against a high-class team like the Gremlins. It's just giving him a little bit more devil-may-care attitude.
I've still been mostly impressed with the Brotherhood's defense. Feels like they've seriously stepped up. Keeping Gremlins out. You can see they keep finding these breakaways, these half chances, but look how quick Brotherhood recover. Look at that one. That setup. Brutal counterattack. Brotherhood's bread and butter. They open up the scoring.
The recipe for success has not changed. And the fact that they have been holding the defense, Jake, a little bit more further forward than they were previously has also prevented the number of shots against them, so they have only had 3 shots against them so far, which has made that defense a little bit easier.
10 seconds left. Gremlins, a bit of a miracle here. Laxton's got a lot of boost, but shut down by Prompt. Creed flying in as well. Gremlins, no time to breathe. One final chance, but again, another challenge in the midfield. It's not the best start. Brotherhood take another game on their undefeated streak.
Okay, I just had to go look at the Twitch stream and look at the replay to see if the camera did the same.
Yeah.
The same thing as 0 seconds. I thought that was just me on my screen doing director cam, but no. I guess the Brotherhood have managed to break Rocket League.
Yeah, because I thought a player was just like frustrated and just like toggling his camera, but you're right, director cam wouldn't do that.
Yeah, director cam stays on ball cam the entire time. So just maybe a little confused with the ball go over your head. But what a start here for the Brotherhood. I think extra credit goes to them because, and this sounds kind of salty, I guess, from me, but it wasn't a game that they like stole away. It was the game that they were in charge of, and they took their victory. And they had more opportunities, and you saw Creed. You know, he didn't score any of those opportunities, but he had some really great moments. He didn't just luck their way through.
Do you feel like they lucked their way through the whole day?
Sometimes you have an upset, and it just feels like they managed to randomly save every goal, and then, you know, somebody misses, hits a crossbar or something, and that decides the game. But this one was very much the Brotherhood's, and it's very much on Gremlins now. Just to find themselves a little bit more space, kind of let the ball, I'd say, go back to their half a little bit more, and maybe find some room for Caleb and Laxton, who can make long solo plays. I mean, they all, you know, those are the two you're kind of looking at for those kind of like next level solo plays.
Gremlin definitely have those mechanics in the tank, but still there's pressure that's been suffocating them. Here's a chance for Laxton. Slippery set off the ceiling into the musty. It's all a bit too slow though.
That's the solo plays we were looking for, and it caused 3 people to commit. The boost a little lower now on the Brotherhood, so if they can get a quick attack going, the Gremlins may have the opportunity. A demo on Caleb's hurt that chance. Kobo faking underneath, and once again, Creed's getting on top of the ball and keeping it out.
Great defense still. Brotherhood seriously rising up to the challenge here. Gremlins looking strong, but Brotherhood looking even better series to series.
I've been really impressed throughout the tournament from Creed's defense. I've been more impressed in the last game of his offense, but throughout the tournament, we've seen Creed be very good at avoiding bumps and getting saves and not really panicking, and that was kind of the best example of that too. He got himself into a position where he was covering both, whether his teammate touched it or if his teammate couldn't get a contact. He covered low option, he covered high option on the backboard. He read the play really well.
They are looking very strong right now. Gremlins are certainly looking better in this game too. They're looking more confident with their solo plays, but I think they're going to have to get a goal on the board to seriously solidify that they're back in this series.
This could be the chance now for Gremlins. They've gone soaring past. Haven't read it. The counterattack not on this time for the Brotherhood, but Prompt will slowly run it up the pitch. He hasn't got any boost. He's looking for the bump. Gets it. Gets a double bump.
No.
Kobo gets back. He almost got the triple bump though.
No one from Brotherhood ready for that. I mean, that was something special, all those bumps.
0 boost.
This as well, you're right. Unable to score. Still, we stayed 0-0, almost at halftime.
Kobo now. Get that over the top, and you can see kind of how relaxed Gremlins like to take it. They want to just try and build a little advantage first. So Kobo there attempting to get it over the top, get maybe a boost advantage, take a player out, and he wasn't successful enough for the follow-up plays.
That's what we see from Brotherhood though. They're not fazed by that kind of style. They're okay absorbing that pressure because they're so good at clearing it out with those threatening counterattacks.
They're happy to be in the defense knowing that they can quickly turn it around. As this time is just going to take it high. 2 minutes remaining. Last time it took almost a full 5 minutes for the first goal to be scored. And it looks like it might be similar once again. Still the opportunities, you'd have to say, a little bit in Brotherhood's favour so far. Here's one good one for Laxton. Creed up again in the defense. Can he block another as Caleb goes? And once again, Creed makes the save.
Gremlins struggling to get these shots on target right now. You can see these solo plays, they're looking good. When push comes to shove, they're just not on target. Brotherhood's defense is still too good, but here comes some consistent pressure. Caleb, flip reset, just steps on again.
And Caleb was too quick up to that ball. He used all of his boost to get the speed. Left him none to make the play afterwards. It's a little bit difficult, especially with Prompt once again winning the 50s, and maybe that's been the most impressive part of Prompt so far, has been his ability to play out a challenge, a 50 game. Get a lot of advantage without using too much boost, but here's the counter-attack this time from Gremlins. Extra touch from Prompt, goes high, he'll even have more, has the flip reset over the top of Laxon, he's got the follow, he has no boost left.
Prompt is so clean, even in defense those mechanics shine through. Bobo tries to set up his teammate, but it's too slow. Gremlins are starting to look frustrated, starting to overcommit. Brotherhood setting up the pressure, that's a great shot, but Caleb's back.
30 seconds. The dire time, next goal will certainly win the game. We haven't seen too many chances from the Gremlins. Really feel like Caleb should be the one stepping up in that regard, and he's got the flip reset, but actually drove along the ball and it sent him further away from it, so he couldn't catch up to it. Now Laxon looking for the pass over to Caleb, maybe a pinch attempt, will land in Cobbo's favour. Long play, fakes underneath, 50 as well. Doesn't matter because Creed is always ready.
Creed has looked so good this series. Offense and defense. Prompt is a bit awkward here. Don't force the issue. It's going to be one final chance. Cobbo keeps it up. Still lacking that power to get its center. Neither team wants to stop playing, actually.
They're both happy to keep that ball in the air, and I don't blame the Brotherhood. They've been so good in the defense, even when the ground hasn't been an extra factor for them. Go to overtime. The Brotherhood, if they win this, they'll be on 3 match points in a row. We already saw...
dangerous.
Oh, there we go. Creed again. End to end, this time off the kickoff. They are on 3 match points, 2-0 over the clear favourites of Gremlins.
You can't forget about Baz, though. He won't get credit for it on the scoreboard, but that demo, throwing out that final defender, made that play work. Gremlins are in so much trouble right now.
I think Chad have been saying Grem wins, but they are spelt with an L for a reason at the moment. Gremlins have been struggling. Caleb has been struggling. Laxon, maybe I'd say, has got more potential in the tank too. So I've been pretty happy overall with Cobbo. He may have been able to generate a little bit more, but he's had some good opportunities so far this series.
They've looked solid, certainly. I mean, Gremlins, they've looked like part of a team. They've looked like their pressure has been decent. They've just been lacking that clinical edge to really get these goals.
We'll see if they are able to turn around. We know they have a lot more in the tank than what they've shown, but also maybe there is this little gap in their armor that the Brotherhood has exposed, and their ability to defend against both what we saw the pressure plays of the last game and more the solo plays of the last series and the solo plays of this series. They've been very comfortable looking in those moments, and I think the Gremlins are going to have to start creating some chaos and really just test that Brotherhood defense with maybe some demos or just some quicker plays overall.
That's a good idea. They've looked very calculated. They've taken things very slow, trying to set up these seemingly, precise solo plays, but maybe they just need to throw off the defenders, even throw in some bumps, just cause something to open up that net.
Exactly. Multiple situations where we were just kind of waiting to see if Cobbo would outplay them, and he hasn't been successful enough on multiple of those, and Baz has crunched it through. It took 5 minutes in the first 2 games to score a goal. Brotherhood keep going strength to strength, and they haven't conceded. They just yet 420. First one goes in.
Just what we were talking about. You can see Caleb there, not quite hesitation, but just too calculated, taking things too slowly, and gets absolutely punished.
Will this continue on? It's been a tough day at the office so far for Gremlins. I don't want to get cleaned up here. Perfect sweep is on the cards. Cobbo now. Oh, not the touch on the pass. He had a golden opportunity. Laxon in open space. Misses the touch. Doesn't get too punished.
I'm telling you, something has gone wrong here for Gremlins and their mechanics. They're just missing that clinical power that we normally see out of them. That speed and press on the other side. Every touch seems to be pure gold coming out of Brotherhood.
You see Prompt rotating through the ball. It gives that little extra touch at the end that beats out one without requiring any extra boosts. Caleb wants to take that high. He saw the 3 defenders in the net. They know they've struggled to score throughout this series, so he's trying to find different inroads. Hasn't been successful. Look at the different options that Brotherhood are covering. They've got one high, one low, and one rotating in. Creed again off the backboard makes the save. Cobbo, look, he's trying to take a high. Prompt was up so high on the backboard. Cobbo's getting a bump, and he still can't open up the can.
Oh, I like what they're doing, though. They're certainly getting closer. Their first goal of the series. I mean, Brotherhood have been so solid at defense, and even with Gremlins stepping up, they're still unable to get past.
Undefeated so far, the Brotherhood. In games, they haven't dropped a single one today. Looking to perfect their way through the bracket. Laxon wants to stop that. He's got the flip reset. Has to go early. Can't get down. He didn't have the boost. And Creed will get the counter-attack. Creed on fire. 2-0 halfway through game 3.
Everything works beautifully for Brotherhood and nothing goes right for Gremlins right now. It is tragic. 2-0 down, still scoreless in the entire series.
The real tragedy is that it felt like that was Gremlins' moment. They stuck with their gameplay and they keep on putting that one person forward, make an outplay. Laxon finally did it, but I think they thought he had a little bit more juice to either score the goal or need to be there on the follow-up. And again, the counterattacks from the Brotherhood have been their most fruitful option.
Creed showing up in defense. Not just having an amazing series with his goal scoring. Here's Laxon. We know how good he can be in these situations. He's getting all the touches, but again, no teammate there to score. The Cobbo almost there, but no power.
It was never threatening enough. Prompt just stayed on the backboard. He's loving that high position, and he just had to wait for Laxon, who never really threatened the goal, so he wasn't going to beat him out. See the multi-covered options from the Brotherhood have still been successful. Now Caleb takes it high, but they had 2 players. They even have a third from the Brotherhood who was rushing back to the net and may have been able to cover it even if they got the outplay.
Defending so incredibly right now. Gremlins throwing everything they have at them right now, but nothing is getting past this brick wall. They're a minute and a half away from getting perfectly swept.
Pinch not helping, but that pass is good. Baz again with the save. There was also the cover there. Now Baz was looking for the bump. Instead, he's going to go for the boost. It goes underneath. It won't sink in, just falling across the line. But that would have been the nail in the coffin.
Absolutely. It might still be there. Prompt out of nowhere. Maybe miscommunication on Gremlin's side. I'm not sure, but an absolute banger to punish them. Go 3-0 up, and like you're saying, probably take out the series with that.
Laxon abandoned the pressure on the ball, put it all down to where the Cobbo could make the save in the net. And he wasn't up to the task against Prompt's shot. Another pinch opportunity, but it's 1 minute away from the Brotherhood creating a new set of history in OCE in the Gauntlet to go perfectly through the challenges. Looking incredibly close, and they may even perfect sweep to do it. It's going to be another goal. Prompt just needs to sink it in, and he'll make it stylish to boot.
Prompt looks too good. The Brotherhood look too good. These counterattacks have beaten everyone today. The mechanics have been too much, and Gremlins have not been up for the challenge.
Can't blame the Gremlins right there, but surely they're thinking we cannot go perfect swept throughout this. I do not see that happen very often in all international competition. We just see that first time in this competition today in the Gauntlet.
Certainly, with 35 seconds left, Brotherhood, they're not going to put their foot off the gas pedal. They're going to keep scoring. It's another one.
It's not just going to be a perfect sweep, it feels like, but it's going to be an absolute demolition job, making them look silly on this stage. 5-0, 30 seconds. The only thing that matters now is can Gremlins get one on the board?
All we care about, just a little bit to save their self-esteem. Brotherhood even win the kickoff. Nothing is going right.
Caleb does have Laxon in support. Just get it down to the other end, lads. Do something. Prompt is there shutting it down. Look, Creed's just flying past. He's used all his boost. This is your moment to stop the perfect sweep because your opponents know they've already won. They're already having a bit of a laugh with it, and they still can't get control of the ball. It's a 5-0. We're just waiting for it to hit the ground. Baz is going to do it. Oh no, they're going to keep it up. Jake, this is a chance to score.
I mean, they've kept them out for 15 minutes. I'm sure they weren't too worried on 0 seconds. That is a perfect sweep to end the day for Brotherhood. They look ready for the Gauntlet, Yummy.
Gremlins who perfect sweep of the Gremlins and a perfect sweep of the bracket in its entirety, going through the entire day 12-0 to get into their first ever Gauntlet. And I mean, they're going to be up against Serrani, if I recall, in the first round. Would have to check that one.
I think you're
right.
That's
that's another team that kind of are the same sort of thought, that same caliber that we're thinking that the Gremlins are. I think they should be, or they will be backing themselves in that series.
We'll have to see if they can keep the momentum up. I mean, the first week of the Gauntlet? Gaming Gamers had that amazing run and then barely got out in 5th. Hopefully, Brotherhood can continue the momentum into tomorrow.
And I don't know. I definitely think we could have seen more from the Gremlins, of course. You know, especially Caleb throughout that series. Never really shine in solo play opportunities. They didn't work well together in finding team plays. They didn't adjust as well into maybe a more demo style gameplay to disrupt the Brotherhood or a challenge one. You know, we talked about them kind of giving a lot of space to the Brotherhood too early on.
Yeah.
But you've got to give so much credit to the Brotherhood, who have defended the best of anybody in the challenges so far. Nobody's been able to hold out people this well.
Yeah, 3-0 in 4 series in a row, all the way from that first series of the day. That is an incredibly impressive feat.
So my real question here now today, Jake, after we've seen the performance of Prompt in the challenges, what?
The weather in Sydney has been a bit stormy. Or we lost me, did we?
Oh, we lost Jake.
We lost me.
Apparently in the broadcast. Well, look, I'm going to say this because we can't hear Jake apparently in the broadcast. But I was going to ask Jake, who's better, Zen or Prompt? And Jake, do you have an answer?
You can't compare them, Yummy. Zen's 16. I mean, come on.
Okay, fine. If you want to go that way, if you want to try and throw it back at me, who's going to be better, Zen in his first year of RLCS or Prompt in a year?
Look, Zen's the GOAT. I don't think you can compare with Zen, but I think the real comparison is Prompt and Hunter. I see a lot of similarities in those two. You could honestly have fooled me if you put Hunter's name on Prompt's car today. They're looking very similar, and it could be the battle of the rookies.
Be really nice to see up against some of the top teams of the competition, the big three, of course, and Serrani, that could maybe test them in different ways. Will their defense get tested? Will Prompt be as successful kind of with the high aerial plays that he was often able to do on the counterattack that weren't getting shut down so easily today? Is he going to be able to do that tomorrow? Is Creed going to have that same level of performance? You said he's been playing well all day, but I think his performance in this final was next level.
I still think as well, just like the teamwork they had was just so consistent. Like their defense, even though it looked a bit suspect, I mean, it's a scrambly style of defense. That works out if you lean into it. It leads into those beautiful clears. It can bait your opponents into overcommitting, which we saw time and time again today. So they have a lot of strength going for them.
And this is the Gauntlet bracket for tomorrow. That'll be starting at 1 p.m. AEDT, so about 3 hours before right now. So make sure you're tuning in then. I'll be casting. Are you casting at the beginning of tomorrow, Jake?
Nah, the last two.
I'll be casting with somebody else. I don't know. I didn't get told. So, so we'll find out. Mystery caster tomorrow morning. And then are you casting in the evening?
I am. With also a mystery caster. Oh, no.
Probably with 4 more, I'm going to guess.
I never know. I just show up and I'm down to cast
usually
anyone.
4 more tells me, and then that way I can be like, oh no, I don't want to cast with Jake.
He knows I'm too easygoing. He's never told me once.
Yeah, he usually tells me he didn't this week. I'm a bit upset. But, yeah, so they're going to have that long bracket tomorrow. And as we've seen in the Gauntlet from the last 3 editions, all 3 editions we've had so far, is that people have made the long run from that kind of 3rd spot all the way to winning the grand final, or even longer run in the first week, whereas a full bracket run. So we'll see if that can happen again today. Maybe even the Brotherhood will be able to make their run.
I mean, that would be ridiculous. But I just think that first week, Gaming Gamers going to Game 7 up against Pioneers, who then won the whole thing. So it's not impossible.
And they 3-0'd Gaming Gamers, so that means they're way better and that they will make the run.
I'm down for it. I'm hoping for it. I want to show up tomorrow and please, Brotherhood still be in the Gauntlet. That'd be sick.
It'll be exciting. Tomorrow's going to be great action. The big 3, of course, Serrani and the Brotherhood will all be trying to make that run through. Just 2 weeks left to earn points for the $15,000 finals that'll be happening in 2 weeks' time as well. Thank you everyone for being here. I've just talked a lot and run out of breath, so I need to get going. But I hope you all had a great day and we'll see you tomorrow.
Yeah, no, I'm sturdy like a milli rocket. Skin clear, still look young, Andy Miller knockers. Money in my pocket. Don't call me a money pocket. Engine get to rocket. It sound like a thunder rocket, yeah.